Pokémon, the ultimate trainer. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 26 Examination. I didn't expect our class monitor to be so outstanding. Teacher, I'll ask you another question. If you can answer it correctly, I won't hold you accountable for sleeping in class, Bai Yuling said to Zhang Cheng with a smile. No problem, teacher, you can ask your question, Zhang Cheng said calmly. How many evolutionary forms does Scyther have, and what are the conditions for evolution? Bai Yuling said in a clear voice. Scyther has 2 evolutionary forms. When the class monitor and the students heard this, they were confused. Can't Scyther only evolve into Giant Mantis? Bai Yuling was a little surprised to hear Zhang Cheng's answer, then nodded and said, continue. The first evolutionary form of Scyther is Giant Mantis, which needs to use metal film to evolve, and there is no requirement for the elf level. Hearing this, the students also nodded one after another, thinking that there was no problem, but they were all very curious about what the second evolutionary form of Scyther was that Zhang Cheng mentioned. Then Zhang Cheng said, as for the second evolution of Scyther, it is Splitting Mantis, which needs to use black stone to evolve. The current way to obtain black stone is to obtain it from Raiden. Zhang Cheng was originally going to talk about the super evolution of Giant Claw Mantis, but thinking that the current Elf Alliance has not yet discovered the way to super evolution, he swallowed the words that were about to come out. Hearing Zhang Cheng's words about Splitting Mantis, the other students in the class felt incredible and had never heard of such a thing. After hearing Zhang Cheng's answer, Bai Yuling was shocked. Splitting Mantis is a new evolution form that has only been discovered recently, and relevant knowledge has not yet been popularized on a large scale. How did Zhang Cheng know the elf knowledge that has not yet been announced to the public? Bai Yuling was very curious and wanted to ask Zhang Cheng how he knew about Splitting Mantis. But now they are still in class and cannot disrupt the order of the class. After thinking for a while, Bai Yuling said, the answer is correct. The teacher will not pursue this matter this time, but it will not happen again next time. Bai Yuling will not regret what she said. Since she promised Zhang Cheng, she must do it. When the students saw the teacher confirm that Zhang Cheng's answer was correct, they all looked at Zhang Cheng in surprise. They obviously didn't expect that the class monitor's theoretical knowledge was so strong. In the following time, Bai Yuling continued to explain various elf knowledge, and the students below were also concentrating on taking notes. Being in an elite class is very stressful. If the final exam results are too poor and the students in the ordinary class take their place, it would be a great shame. So everyone worked very hard to get better grades and remembered to take notes for every knowledge point. However, the elf knowledge is not difficult for Zhang Cheng. After the questioning, he leaned against the window to think about life. After school was over at noon, Zhang Cheng was relieved and could finally go out for some activities. He called Yan from the next class and went to the cafeteria to eat lunch together. Zhang Cheng, has your class started today? Yan asked vaguely while eating. Zhang Cheng replied, the class has already started. It is the elf theory knowledge. The courses of our 2 classes should be the same. Yes, we started the theory class today. We talked about a lot of knowledge points in the morning. My head is so big, Yan complained distressedly. Learn slowly. After all, the proportion of theoretical knowledge in the college entrance examination is not low, Zhang Cheng encouraged Yan. Why do I feel that you have no pressure at all? I remember that your theoretical knowledge was also a mess before, Yan asked doubtfully. You can't be impatient for learning. You have to take one step at a time. Pressure is not necessarily a good thing. Keep a calm mind and take it slowly, Zhang Cheng said with a very experienced look. That's right, it's useless to worry now. There is still a year to learn slowly, and the grades will always be improved, Yan agreed. If Yan knew that he had already mastered the elf theoretical knowledge of the college entrance examination, I don't know if this kid would go crazy. After dinner, the 2 separated again and returned to their respective classes. As the bell rang, the afternoon class began. In the afternoon, Bai Yuling did not continue to explain the theoretical knowledge, but distributed a set of test papers to everyone. Taking the exam on the first day of school was a bit unexpected for Zhang Cheng, but it was also a good thing. At my own speed, I can finish the test paper in less than half an hour. Wouldn't it be great to hand in the paper in advance and go out for some fresh air? While thinking about these, The test paper has been distributed. Zhang Cheng opened the test paper and found that most of the questions were very basic. The first question is a multiple-choice question. 1. What is the attribute of Bulbasaur? A. Grass attribute. B. Poison attribute. C. Water attribute. D. Grass attribute plus poison attribute. Zhang Cheng glanced at it and decisively chose the answer D. This question is to test the understanding of the details of the elves. Some students may think that Bulbasaur is a pure grass attribute. Then Zhang Cheng spent 3 minutes to finish all the multiple-choice questions. Continuing to write, there are some fill-in-the-blank questions. For Zhang Cheng, it is not difficult at all. He can finish them all in a few seconds. Teacher, I'm done. Zhang Cheng stood up and said to Bai Yuling, can I hand in the paper in advance? Teacher, the students who were doing the questions also looked up. Their class monitor is really a ruthless person. I have to admire him. He has been making trouble and never stopped. Bai Yuling, who was reading a book on the podium, also looked down and found that it was Zhang Cheng who was talking. Can't this kid be more quiet? It's really a headache, Bai Yuling thought depressedly. I don't know if coming here to teach is the right choice. You finished it so quickly. You didn't hand in a blank paper to fool me, Bai Yuling asked jokingly. Teacher, I really finished it all. You can check if there are any problems, Zhang Cheng said as he took the test paper and walked towards the podium. Bai Yuling looked at the test paper handed over by Zhang Cheng and simply scanned it. There was indeed no problem. So he rolled his eyes and said, okay, but don't leave the school. Don't walk around during class, okay? Thank you, teacher, Zhang Cheng said with a smile. Then he walked out of the classroom without looking back. He didn't want Bai Yuling to regret it later, otherwise he would have to stay in his seat bored. Looking at Zhang Cheng walking out, Bai Yuling felt that the situation of being a tutor here was not what he thought, and the originally boring life seemed to become interesting. Chapter 27 Asking for Advice. After leaving the classroom, Zhang Cheng suddenly felt a lot more relaxed. The depressing atmosphere in the classroom would make people feel uncomfortable, and Zhang Cheng didn't like this feeling. Compared to burying his head and learning theoretical knowledge, Zhang Cheng prefers to fight elves, go to the outside world to experience, and see the whole picture of the world. Zhang Cheng first returned to the dormitory to take the 2 elves with him, preparing to walk around the campus and understand the structure of the entire campus. Zhang Cheng did not bring his own elves when he was in the theoretical class, but let them rest in the dormitory. Compared to staying in the elf ball, the elves must prefer to play and live in the outside world. When Zhang Cheng returned to the dormitory, he saw Mosquito and Pidgeot chattering. Pidgeot listened and nodded in response, looking very proud. Hearing the movement of Zhang Cheng coming back, the 2 elves ran to Zhang Cheng. They hadn't seen their trainer for most of the day, and the elves were a little uncomfortable. They had already gotten used to living with Zhang Cheng. Zhang Cheng took out a few energy cubes and continued to feed the 2 elves. As for the elf food, Zhang Cheng had prepared it for them before going out, but Zhang Cheng kept the energy cubes separately. Because if all of them were taken out, the elves would not be able to resist the temptation of the energy cubes and would eat them all at once. Eating too many energy cubes at once has side effects on the elves' bodies. The most important point is that Zhang Cheng does not have so many elf coins to buy energy cubes now. After Mosquito, Tadpole and Bobo finished eating the energy cubes, Zhang Cheng took the 2 elves to wander around the campus. In the elf training ground, some ordinary classes were taking practical teaching classes, led by their own instructors, and gave instructions on the shortcomings of their respective elves. In order to have enough space for the training ground, the school arranged courses every day with half of the classes taking theoretical knowledge classes and half of the students taking practical teaching. Of course, the space of the training ground of Jiangcheng No. 1 Middle School is fully capable of accommodating all the classes of Senior 3 to train together, but in that case, each class will have less space. Having an experienced trainer as a mentor to guide you is of great help in improving the strength of your own Pokémon. Because the novices who have just become trainers have no experience in the cultivation and training of Pokémon. With the guidance of a mentor, you can avoid many detours. After looking at the class situation of the ordinary class, Zhang Cheng felt that there was nothing to see, so he continued to walk to other places in the training ground. After walking back and forth for 2 rounds, Zhang Cheng also felt a little bored, so he simply found a place close to the cafeteria and waited for Yi-Yuan to finish class so that they could eat together. Although it was very boring outside, it was better to sit outside than in the classroom. Zhang Cheng liked the feeling of freedom. As the bell rang, The senior high school students came out of the classroom and the training ground and began to walk towards the cafeteria. Zhang Cheng looked for Yuan in the crowd, but after searching for a long time, Zhang Cheng couldn't find him, so he went to the cafeteria to eat alone. After getting the meal, Zhang Cheng still found a seat in the corner to sit down. Zhang Cheng prefers a quiet and comfortable place. Just as Zhang Cheng was eating, a clear female voice suddenly sounded in his ears. "Class monitor, is it convenient for you to sit here for a while?" Zhang Cheng was stunned. Class monitor? After thinking for a while, he suddenly remembered that he was indeed the class monitor of Class 1. He just became the class monitor yesterday, and he didn't react for a while. Then the girl who was talking to him should be the girl in whose class. Zhang Cheng looked up and saw that it was Wu Yuyu, the study committee member of his former class. Now that the new class has been established, there are not too many class cotters. After all, after becoming a trainer, everyone focuses on the Pokémon, and there are not too many other things to deal with, which reduces a lot of trouble. It is enough for a class to have a class monitor as a class cadre. No problem, sit down. Although Zhang Cheng was a little confused about why Wu Yuyu suddenly came to him, he still said politely. The two sat opposite each other. Zhang Cheng had no intention of taking the initiative to speak, so he continued to eat his meal. Wu Yuyu hesitated for a moment, blushing, and said to Zhang Cheng, "Well, monitor, there are some difficult questions in today's exam that I can't answer. Can I ask you for help?" After saying that, Wu Yuyu buried her head deeply. It was the first time for her to take the initiative to ask a boy for help, so she was naturally very embarrassed. Zhang Cheng thought for a while and said, "No problem, as a monitor, it is my duty to take the initiative to lend a hand to students in the class when they are in trouble. Let's eat first, and then go to the grove behind the training ground. There are many round tables there, which is a good place to study," Zhang Cheng said immediately. Wu Yuyu always felt that something was wrong, but she couldn't tell. "Okay, no problem," Wu Yuyu responded to Zhang Cheng. When Zhang Cheng and Wu Yuyu were having dinner together, they were discovered by other students in the class. Everyone hated Zhang Cheng. First, he was specially cared for by the beautiful tutor, and now he was having dinner with the beautiful classmates in the class. This group of boys and adolescents were simply envious and jealous. After lunch, Zhang Cheng took Wu Yuyu to the grove behind the training ground and found a clean stone bench to sit down. "If you don't understand any questions, just ask directly. If I know the answer, I will give you the answer," Zhang Cheng sat down and said directly. "Okay, thank you, squad leader," Wu Yuyu whispered. "I want to ask about a question about the Shuck Ninja. It's a fill-in-the-blank question. Do you still remember it, squad leader?" Zhang Cheng thought about it carefully. Wu Yuyu should be talking about the characteristics of the Shuck Ninja. After confirming the question, Zhang Cheng answered Wu Yuyu. "This question mainly examines the special evolution of the Doi Ninja, the characteristics of the Shuck Ninja. This Pokemon has only one characteristic. The characteristic is called Magical Guardian. Pokemon with a special effect can only be damaged by skills that restrain its attributes. The Shuck Ninja has the attributes of Insect plus Ghost. There are 5 skill attributes that can cause damage to it: Fire, Ghost, Evil, Flying and Rock," Zhang Cheng added. "So that's how it is. This elf's characteristics are so magical. I haven't heard of it before," Wu Yuyu said in surprise. "This knowledge point is relatively rare at present. It's normal not to know it. Under normal circumstances, it's difficult to encounter this elf," Zhang Cheng said patiently. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 28 Ibrahimovic. If you have any other questions, you can also ask them together, Zhang Cheng continued. "Thank you, class monitor," Wu Yuyu said shyly. "There is another difficult question, which is the last question of today's exam, about the effects of sandstorm weather, and list all the situations in which sandstorm weather will not cause weather damage." Zhang Cheng has guessed that Wu Yuyu must be asking this question. For current high school students, weather effects are only a preliminary understanding. It is still quite difficult to answer various specific situations under weather effects. The effect of sandstorm weather after it is activated is that it will cause 1/16 of the maximum health value of the elves at the end of each round of battle, and the special defensive rock attribute Pokemon will increase to 1.5 times. Pokemon with the sand power attribute will increase the power of rock, ground or steel attribute moves by 30%, and will not be damaged by sandstorms. Pokemon with the sand hide attribute will increase the dodge rate by 20%, and will not be damaged by sandstorms. Pokemon with the Bashar attribute will double their speed in sandstorms. These are the effects that appear in sandstorm weather. If you can't remember them, I can send these knowledge points to you later via your mobile phone. Zhang Cheng said to Wu Yu, who was studying seriously. Okay, thank you Monitor, your explanation is very detailed, I will remember it well, Wu Yu said quickly. Then let me explain the conditions for not being hurt in sandstorm weather, which is relatively complicated. Zhang Cheng said after organizing his thoughts. As long as the elves meet one of the following 4 conditions in sandstorm weather, they will not be harmed by the sandstorm weather. 1. The elves have one of the following 4 conditions too. The elves have one of the characteristics of sand power, sand hiding, sand shoveling, magic defense or dust prevention. 3. The elves carry props, dust goggles. 4. The elves are in the state of dig-in diving. In addition to these, there is an additional point that some skills will change their effects due to the influence of sandstorm weather. The power of the sunbeam sunblade moves is x0.5. Photosynthesis, morning light, and moonlight moves can only restore 1/4 of the maximum health limit. The weather ball move is changed to rock attribute. Power x2. Wu Yu was a little confused after listening. Obviously, this amount of knowledge was a bit beyond her tolerance. There will be a lot of knowledge points about weather effects, and you will definitely not be able to learn them all at once. After I send you the notes later, you can learn slowly. Zhang Cheng said, looking at Wu Yu's state. Wu Yu felt that the atmosphere was a bit ambiguous. A man and a woman staying together in the grove in the evening, it was not right no matter how she thought about it. I see, thank you very much, Monitor. These are all my questions. If there is nothing else, I will go back first, Wu Yu said with a blush. Okay, no problem, see you tomorrow, Zhang Cheng waved his hand and said. After Wu Yu finished speaking, she also got up and prepared to go back to the dormitory, but she suddenly remembered a problem that had been bothering her for a long time. After a brief hesitation, she still asked Zhang Cheng this question, Monitor, I have other questions I want to ask you, is it okay? Zhang Cheng, who was about to get up and go back, also looked back at Wu Yu, thinking that this girl was really a curious baby. It's okay. It's normal for a Monitor to help female classmates in the class, Zhang Cheng resolved Wu Yu's embarrassment. That is, my Pokemon is an EV. The Monitor should know this. Wu Yu continued. I know this. The question you want to ask should be the evolutionary direction of EV. Zhang Cheng saw through Wu Yu's thoughts at a glance and said directly. Ah, you even know this, squad leader, you are really smart, Wu Yu said in surprise. This is actually very easy to know. Regarding EV, the most important thing for trainers is of course its evolutionary direction. Each evolutionary form of EV has its own advantages, and the choice should also be made according to the trainer's own preferred attributes. If you want to form a fire team, then evolving into a fire Pokemon is definitely the first choice. If the team needs an electric Pokemon, evolving into Rainbow is also fine. It mainly depends on your needs for the Pokemon's attributes, Zhang Cheng replied simply. I don't know what attributes of Pokemon I need yet. I want Eevee to evolve to be more beautiful. Oh. Wu Yu's answer made Zhang Cheng stunned, but then he felt it was normal. As a rookie trainer, he certainly has no understanding of his future team planning, and has not thought about these things. Girls all love beauty, and of course they hope that their elves are beautiful and cute. Thinking of this, Zhang Cheng said to Wu Yu, if this is the case, Sylveon should be the most suitable. Sylveon has a beautiful appearance and does not require evolution stones to evolve. This also saves a lot of money. The official price of the evolution stone in the alliance is 500,000 elf coins, which is considered a relatively expensive luxury. Sylveon, Wu Yu asked doubtfully, does Eevee have this evolution form? Sylveon was discovered by the League in recent years. This is a new evolution form of Eevee. Pictures of Sylveon can be found on the internet. Zhang Cheng said as he held up the picture of Sylveon he had searched on his phone. This is Sylveon. I think you girls will like this kind of Eevee very much. Wu Yu was shocked when she saw the picture of Sylveon. Obviously, she didn't expect that there would be such a good-looking Eevee. How does Sylveon need to evolve? Wu Yuiyu said with shining eyes. Sure enough, no girl can resist the temptation of Sylveon, Zhang Cheng sighed in his heart. The first condition that needs to be met to evolve into Sylveon is to have a relatively high intimacy between the trainer and Eevee. After meeting the intimacy condition, Eevee needs to learn fairy-type skills. If these 2 points are met at the same time, Eevee can evolve into Sylveon. Zhang Cheng explained the evolution conditions of Sylveon, and reminded Wu Yuiyu, before evolving, you must not let Eevee go near Moss Stone or Ice Stone, as that will affect the evolution direction of Eevee. As long as you don't go to these places, there will be no problem. There should be no such places in Jiangcheng City. When Wu Yuiyu heard Zhang Cheng talking about Sylveon, she quickly took notes on her phone. After explaining these issues to Wu Yuiyu, Zhang Cheng stood up and said goodbye, then returned to the dormitory. Looking at Zhang Cheng's receding back, Wu Yuiyu felt her heartbeat quicken for some reason. Probably because she was thinking about her Sylveon. Chapter 29 Practical Teaching. After returning to the dormitory, Zhang Cheng first took out the Pokémon food and gave it to Mosquito and Pidgeot, and then took a hot bath. After the bath, he found that the 2 Pokémon had already finished the food. Zhang Cheng picked up Mosquito and Pidgeot and put them on his legs. Recently, there were many things to do at the beginning of the school year, so he didn't give the 2 Pokémon a good massage. Zhang Cheng planned to take good care of the 2 little ones tonight. In the future, his grades will be in their hands, and these 2 little ancestors must be spoiled. According to the familiar techniques before, Zhang Cheng held a little cutie in each hand and gave the 2 little ones a massage. Mosquito and Pidgeot also enjoyed the set of their trainers, and fell asleep after the comfortable massage. After massaging the 2 Pokémon, Zhang Cheng also set the alarm clock to rest, because he had to get up early tomorrow to attend the practical teaching class. There was no talk all night. It was another familiar morning. The sun hit Zhang Cheng's face, and with the ringing of the alarm clock, a new day began. After a simple wash, Zhang Cheng set off to the cafeteria, and he still had to eat breakfast. Zhang Cheng also met Yan while eating breakfast. This kid couldn't be found last night. Today, he had to ask him what he did yesterday. Tian, where did you go last night? I waited for you at the canteen gate for a long time but didn't see you. Yesterday I went to fight with others. Someone in our class wanted to spar with me. I went to your class to find you after class, but you were not there, Yan said helplessly. Our class had an exam yesterday. I handed in the paper early and came out, so I waited for you directly at the canteen gate, Zhang Cheng explained. That's really impossible, but you are really a ruthless person. You handed in the paper early on the first day of the exam. Aren't you afraid that your tutor will settle accounts with you after the results come out? Yan said worriedly. Look, when have I ever been afraid? I'm going to eat. Eating is the most important thing in the world, Zhang Cheng said and walked towards the canteen. After breakfast, the 2 went to their own class training ground separately. Today is the practical teaching class of the 2 classes of the elite class. After arriving at the playground, Zhang Cheng also played the role of class monitor, asking everyone to line up neatly and wait for the instructor to arrive. A moment later, Bai Yuling came to the battle side of Class 1. It is a hot summer now. Bai Yuling is wearing a light casual outfit today, holding a small white umbrella, and a pair of straight long legs are displayed in front of Zhang Cheng. Zhang Cheng's heartbeat quickened after seeing it. Although he is not a young man in adolescence, he is also a normal man. Who cannot be moved after seeing this? Our class monitor is quite competent, Bai Yuling said when he saw everyone standing in line. Teacher, as a class monitor, this is my duty, Zhang Cheng pretended to be upright and said. Oh, really? Then the teacher will need an opponent to demonstrate the actual combat teaching later. Let our class monitor be this opponent. What do you think? No problem, we all support it. The class monitor is the best, the classmates said in a booing manner. Zhang Cheng's face was full of black lines. If he had known, he would not have made trouble. Bai Yuling is a gym leader level trainer. According to Zhang Cheng's conservative estimate, Bai Yuling's Pokémon level is at least 53 or above. After all, the minimum level required to become a gym leader level trainer is 51. Since everyone has no objection, let the class monitor be the opponent of the teacher's teaching later. Zhang Cheng thought to himself that I haven't agreed yet, but it doesn't seem to matter whether I agree or not. Bai Yuling continued, in the practical teaching class this morning, the teacher will fight with your Pokémon and test the shortcomings of your Pokémon through fighting. Of course, the teacher will definitely not use the level advantage to bully your Pokémon. I will try my best to control the skill damage of the Pokémon to around level 10. If everyone has no questions, you can take a rest first and release your Pokémon to adjust your state. After speaking, Bai Yuling sat down by the shade of a tree nearby, took out her mobile phone and looked at something. Looking at Bai Yuling under the shade of the tree, Zhang Cheng was slightly stunned, as if he saw a perfect picture. Under the scorching sun, under the green shade of the tree, a young girl with milky white hair sat. Bai Yuling, who was being watched by Zhang Cheng, felt something and looked up at Zhang Cheng. When their eyes met, Bai Yuling was the first to give in. Zhang Cheng was also a little surprised. He didn't expect Bai Yuling to look at him. Just when Zhang Cheng was about to close his eyes to rest, he suddenly saw Bai Yuling looking at him, with her slender fingers pointing to his side. Zhang Cheng was a little confused. Was she asking him to sit over there? Seeing Bai Yuling's action, Zhang Cheng also responded with an action. Zhang Cheng put his finger in front of himself, then pointed at Bai Yuling, asking if she wanted him to go over there. Seeing Bai Yuling nod in confirmation, Zhang Cheng walked directly and generously to Bai Yuling and sat down. When other students saw Zhang Cheng sitting next to the instructor, they also began to gossip in a low voice. "Little guy, what were you looking at so engrossed just now? Tell your sister." Bai Yuling changed her seriousness in class and said to Zhang Cheng jokingly. Zhang Cheng didn't know whether to tell the truth or a lie. If he said the wrong thing, he was afraid that he would have a hard time. Of course it's the teacher's long legs. How can anyone resist such beauty? Zhang Cheng planned to tell the truth. Slippery tongue will not bring good results. Hearing Zhang Cheng's words, Bai Yuling's pretty face turned red, and then changed the subject. "Little brother, do you have your own ideal university in mind?" "Of course I do. It's our Sakura University in Jiangchen," Zhang Cheng said directly. "Why Sakura University?" "Sakura University ranks very high among the 8 famous elves." "Sister, you don't look like someone who has no pursuit," Bai Yuling asked doubtfully. "Because I like my hometown more and have feelings for the land I live in, is that so? Have you ever thought about coming to Magic City University? It has the best resources in the Huaxia Alliance. Although the 8 famous universities are not ranked, everyone knows the strength of the schools. At present, the 2 strongest universities in the Huaxia Alliance are Kyoto University and Magic City University." Zhang Cheng didn't know how to answer this question, so he asked Bai Yuling. "Are you from Magic City University? Just call me sister in private." "Sister doesn't like others calling me teacher," Bai Yuling said mischievously. "Yes, sister is now a junior at Magic City University. Because I didn't want to stay in school, I came here to be a tutor through someone's introduction." Chapter 30 Tanabata Bluebird. Zhang Cheng felt a little unbelievable when he heard Bai Yuling's words. According to the school age stipulated by the league, if he was a junior, he would only be 19 years old. Zhang Cheng found it difficult to accept a 19-year-old gym leader level trainer. According to the league's data, it is very rare to reach the gym leader level at the age of 20. And Bai Yuling was already a gym leader level trainer at the age of 19. How could Zhang Cheng not be surprised? Seeing Zhang Cheng's expression, Bai Yuling covered her mouth and chuckled. "Little brother, don't you believe what your sister said?" "No, of course I believe my sister," Zhang Cheng said hurriedly. "It's just that I'm a little confused. Why doesn't my sister want to stay in the Magic City, but come to our Jiangchen?" Zhang Cheng asked a question in his heart. "Well, there are many reasons. I'll tell you when I have a chance," Bai Yuling said thoughtfully. "Okay, sister, please show mercy in the battle later, don't abuse me too badly," Zhang Cheng said, touching his nose. Hearing Zhang Cheng's words, Bai Yuling covered her mouth and smiled. "Don't worry, how could I abuse my students, right?" Looking at Bai Yuling's tone, Zhang Cheng wanted to say no, but he didn't want to die, so he had to nod his head. Looking at Zhang Cheng's appearance, Bai Yuling thought to herself that she finally let out a grudge, letting you mess with me on the first day of school. After thinking for a while, Bai Yuling opened her mobile phone, took out the social software to add the method and handed it to Zhang Cheng. "Add sister as a friend, so that I can find you conveniently in the future." Looking at the mobile phone handed over by Bai Yuling, Zhang Cheng opened his mobile phone to scan the code and add Bai Yuling's contact information. After that, the two of them had no words. After a short break, Bai Yuling started today's practical teaching course. Arriving at the battle site, Zhang Cheng and Bai Yuling stood on both sides of the site. Zhang Cheng was actually quite curious about what kind of Pokemon Bai Yuling would use. A Pokemon from a gym leader level trainer from the Magic City was indeed quite exciting. After both sides were ready, Bai Yuling also released the elf she was fighting against. Come out, Kixie Bluebird, Gukyu Gukyu. As soon as Kixie Bluebird appeared, it made its beautiful cry. It turned out to be the Dragon Clan traitor Kixie Bluebird. Kixie Bluebird is basically not seen in China. It is a special elf of the East Asian country. Zhang Cheng opened the system curiously and checked the information of Bai Yuling. The Kixie Bluebird, name, Kixie Bluebird, level 55, gender, female. Qualification, attributes, dragon, flying. Carried items, life orb. Every time you carry this item and use a skill, your health will decrease a little, but the power of the skill will increase. Basic skills, pecking, singing, scare, random attack, mysterious guardian, enchanting voice, white mist, round song, nature's grace, rampage, parrot mimicry, cotton defense, dragon dance, dragon breath, dragon wave, song of destruction, power of the moon. Learning skills, feather perch, magic flash, fly, hold, destruction light. Inherited skills, dragon dive, playfulness, feather dance. Characteristics, unrelated to weather. All effects caused by any weather when this elf is present are invalid, but the weather itself will not disappear. Note, Kixie Bluebird, a humming Pokémon, is the evolved form of the blue cotton bird. It looks like a cotton cloud flying in the air and can hum with a soprano voice. After reading it, Zhang Cheng took a breath of cold air. He had thought that Bai Yuling's elves would be very strong, but he didn't expect it to be so terrifying. The A-level qualification of the Kixie Bluebird is as high as level 55, and it also has a high damage genetic skill. Looking at the learning skills of this Kixie Bluebird, this is obviously a rich woman. Each of these high damage skills starts at hundreds of thousands of elf coins. After the elves have learned skills, it will also be displayed on the attribute panel that Zhang Cheng checked. Looking at Zhang Cheng in a daze, Bai Yuling jokingly said, "Our squad leader, are you scared?" Hearing Bai Yuling's words, Zhang Cheng also came back to his senses and directly released the mosquito-repellent tadpole. Although this Kixie Bluebird is very strong, Zhang Cheng has never been afraid. Fighting with high-level elves is also a training for his own elves. Zhang Cheng will naturally not miss this opportunity. Come out, mosquito-repellent tadpole. Zhang Cheng was also checking the attribute panel of the mosquito-repellent tadpole at this time. Name, mosquito-repellent tadpole, level 10, gender, male. Qualification, B+. Attribute, water-carrying props, none. Basic skills, playing with water, water gun, hypnosis, foam. Learning skills, thief. Inherited skills, foam beam, heart's eye, reckless. Characteristics, leisurely and free. In rainy or heavy rainy weather, the speed ability becomes twice as much as before. Note, mosquito-repellent tadpole, tadpole Pokémon. The vortex pattern on the belly is its characteristic. Mosquito. As soon as the mosquito-repellent tadpole appeared, it looked at the opponent's Tenabita Bluebird. The two elves looked relatively friendly and were simply communicating. The two elves seemed to know that the trainer was going to compete with each other. After a simple communication, they entered the combat state. Zhang Cheng planned to take the initiative to defeat the enemy. Since he was at a disadvantage, it was useless to dodge blindly. Mosquito-repellent tadpole, let's use hypnosis. Zhang Cheng directly issued a combat order to the mosquito-repellent tadpole. The mosquito-repellent tadpole spewed out a large amount of sound waves from its mouth, and the sound waves flew quickly towards the Kixie Bluebird. However, due to the large difference in level, the hypnosis of the mosquito-repellent tadpole was easily dodged by the Kixie Bluebird. The hit rate of hypnosis will be greatly reduced when used on elves with a large level difference, Bai Yuling pointed out Zhang Cheng. But Zhang Cheng really had no choice. Facing such a big boss-like existence, if he used ordinary water skills, it would be like tickling. So Zhang Cheng expected his European Emperor to hypnotize the Kixie Bluebird directly, and then launch a fierce attack. The idea was good, but unfortunately Zhang Cheng did not become the European Emperor this time, and the hypnosis was ruthlessly dodged. Seeing that the hypnosis was ineffective, Zhang Cheng also decisively commanded the mosquito-repellent tadpole to use water skills to attack. The mosquito-repellent tadpole directly condensed its strength and emitted a bubble beam. This is the most powerful skill of the mosquito-repellent tadpole at present. Kixie Bluebird used the charming voice, hearing Bai Yuling's command. Kixie Bluebird flapped its wings and sang loudly from its mouth. But when the mosquito coil tadpole heard this sound, it was extremely painful, and the condensed foam light was also interrupted. Charming voice is a skill that cannot be avoided. After it is activated, it can cause mental damage to the elf. After the mosquito coil tadpole was attacked by the charming voice, the whole state was much worse. Bai Yuling also deliberately suppressed the power of Kixie Bluebird's skills, otherwise the mosquito coil tadpole would definitely lose its combat ability directly with the charming voice just now. Chapter 31, Unexpected. Through this brief battle, Zhang Cheng realized the gap in strength between the mosquito-repellent tadpole and the Kixie Bluebird. Normal damage skills will not have any effect on the Kixie Bluebird, and it is even more difficult to find a chance to win. But Zhang Cheng will not give up easily. There are always more solutions than difficulties. In Zhang Cheng's mind, he has already thought of a strategy to deal with the Kixie Bluebird. In the following battle, Zhang Cheng has been commanding the mosquito-repellent tadpole to defend. The attacks launched by the Kixie Bluebird are all low-damage skills, and they have been suppressing their own strength, giving the opponent's elves room to fight. But even if the Kixie Bluebird attacks with reduced power, a juvenile mosquito-repellent tadpole is unbearable. After being attacked continuously by the Kixie Bluebird, the mosquito-repellent tadpole's health value has bottomed out, and it will soon lose its combat ability. It's meaningless to defend blindly. If you only have this little ability, I'm very disappointed, Bai Yuling said as she looked at the battle in front of her. Zhang Cheng did not respond. Feeling that the time was almost right, he directly ordered the mosquito-repellent tadpole to use the Eye of the Heart. Watching the mosquito-repellent tadpole use the Eye of Heart, Bai Yuling felt that the battle had become interesting. Use whatever skills you have, otherwise you will have no chance if you are late, Bai Yuling commanded the Kixie Bluebird to continue attacking. The Kixie Bluebird had the advantage of level, and was much faster than the mosquito-repellent tadpole. In the blink of an eye, it came to the side of the mosquito-repellent tadpole. The Kixie Bluebird directly used the skill of random attack, flapping its wings frantically, and attacked the mosquito-repellent tadpole. After the mosquito-repellent tadpole used the Eye of Heart, it directly used its other inherited skill, Reckless. Zhang Cheng was waiting for such an opportunity to get close to the Kixie Bluebird unexpectedly and use the Reckless skill. Now that the Kixie Bluebird took the initiative to attack at close range, it undoubtedly gave Zhang Cheng a great opportunity. The skills of both sides came into contact, and the mosquito-repellent tadpole's reckless attack hit directly. Since the mosquito-repellent tadpole's health value had reached the bottom, this reckless move directly knocked out more than half of the Kixie Bluebird's health value. At the same time, Tanabata Bluebird's random attack skill was also interrupted by the tadpole due to the huge damage. Now both Pokémons have reached a low health state, and the next skill of both sides may decide the outcome. The students watching around were also extremely shocked. Who would have thought that Zhang Cheng could beat Tanabata Bluebird to a near-death state in the face of such a large level gap? Facing Zhang Cheng's counterattack, Bai Yuling was also a little surprised. It seems that the teacher underestimated you. I didn't expect that as a rookie trainer, you could think of such a trick. This is the only way to defeat Tanabata Bluebird at present. Of course, there is also a component of luck. Facing such a high-level difference, I dare not guarantee the hit of the reckless skill, so I used the Eye of the Heart in advance to increase the hit rate, Zhang Cheng explained. Taking advantage of the time when Tanabata Bluebird was injured and stiff, the tadpole directly condensed the last strength to use a water gun. The reason for using the water gun is that the water gun skill has the highest hit rate among all the skills of the tadpole. Now both elves are close to dying, and what is needed is no longer high damage skills, but attack skills that ensure hit rate and high speed. The sudden attack of the mosquito-repellent tadpole did not move Bai Yuling, as if everything was still under her control. The water gun skill accurately shot at the Kixie Bluebird in the air, and the Kixie Bluebird was unable to dodge. Just when everyone thought that Zhang Cheng was about to win, a layer of transparent colorful light shield appeared around the Kixie Bluebird. The moment the water gun was about to hit the Kixie Bluebird, it was directly blocked by the defense skill launched by the Kixie Bluebird. To resist the water gun skill of the mosquito-repellent tadpole, the Kixie Bluebird directly used the charming voice again. Seeing that the water gun did not hit, the mosquito-repellent tadpole also began to condense the water gun again at the fastest speed. Unfortunately, the speed of the mosquito-repellent tadpole was far less than that of the Kixie Bluebird. The Kixie Bluebird chose to use the long-range sound wave skill to ensure the hit rate and distance, leaving the mosquito-repellent tadpole no room to fight back. The charming voice was emitted, directly hitting the shaky mosquito coil tadpole, and the mosquito coil tadpole lost its ability to fight. Zhang Cheng also felt a little pity when he saw the final result. He didn't expect that he was still one step behind in the end. Kixie Bluebird's qualifications and level are very high, and the degree of mastery of skills is naturally self-evident. In a crisis, he calmly used the Guardian skill and won the victory. The classmates around him were also in shock watching this roller coaster-like game. They didn't expect the results to be reversed again and again. It seems that you are quite competent as a class monitor. You have brought a lot of surprises to the teacher right from the start, Bai Yuling praised Zhang Cheng. Compared with the teacher, I am still far behind in combat experience. Thank you, teacher, this battle has given me a lot of gains, Zhang Cheng said truthfully. If it weren't for Kixie Bluebird's close attack, I wouldn't have had the opportunity to use reckless actions. At the same time, there is also the component that Kixie Bluebird did not use all his strength, otherwise I would have been defeated long ago. Looking at Zhang Cheng's humble appearance, Bai Yuling was very satisfied. What she hated most was the kind of trainer who couldn't find the north and south after achieving a little achievement. After the battle, Zhang Cheng rushed to send the mosquito-repellent tadpole and the Kixie Bluebird to the treatment room for treatment. Bai Yuling did not accompany the Kixie Bluebird because she had to continue fighting with other students. After settling the mosquito-repellent tadpole and the Kixie Bluebird, Zhang Cheng returned to the training ground and continued to watch the battle between other students and Bai Yuling. When Zhang Cheng returned to the viewing platform, Bai Yuling had already started fighting with other students. When the Kixie Bluebird could not fight, Bai Yuling also took out her second elf. Seeing Bai Yuling's second elf, Zhang Cheng was slightly surprised. It turned out to be another very rare foreign elf species. Zhang Cheng opened the system and checked the information of this Pokémon. Name, Sea Lion, level 52, gender, female, qualification, B attributes, water, fairy carrying props, mysterious water drop. For the Pokémon carrying this prop, the damage of water-related skills is increased by 20%. Basic skills, Aria of Bubbles, Slapping, Shouting, Water Gun, Charming Voice, Round Pupils, Water Jet, Frozen Wind, One More Time, Bubble Ray, Singing, Continuous Slaps, Loud Voice, Moon Power, Temptation. Learning skills, Guard, Round Sing, Hot Water, Light Wall. Inherited skills, Song of Destruction. Characteristics, Wet Voice. All sound-based moves used are transformed into water-based ones. Notes, Sea Lion, a soloist Pokémon, evolved from the flowery sea lion, uses singing to manipulate balloons made of water. This melody will be learned among partners and passed down from generation to generation. Chapter 32 Campus Life. After seeing the attributes of Bai Yuling's sea lion, Zhang Cheng realized how powerful gym leader-level trainers are. The special effect of this sea lion is to convert sound-type skills into water attributes, so that ordinary sound moves can be attached with their own water attribute damage bonus. And with a prop mystical water drop, the power of water attribute skills can be further enhanced. Such a sea lion with a characteristic and props is enough to make the opponent despair. Then the students took out their own Pokémons to fight against the sea lion, but none of them achieved any effect. After a short fight, the students were defeated one after another. After all, they were all new trainers. Facing such a powerful Pokémon, they could not think of any way to fight. Even the situation of posing a little threat to the sea lion had never occurred. After the battle, Bai Yuling also guided each student on their shortcomings in combat. Through guidance, you can know what problems you have in Pokémon cultivation and training, and correct them in time. In such a process of learning and accumulating battles, Pokémons will become more and more powerful. The whole day was spent in the battle. As evening approached, the practical teaching class of the day ended. Zhang Cheng also left the training ground and came to the treatment room to check on the situation of the mosquito coil tadpole. Bai Yuling was also accompanying him. Her Tanabata Bluebird was also sent to the treatment room by Zhang Cheng, so now it was just the right time to go and take their own elves away. Sister feels that you are not like a rookie trainer at all. Facing the situation today, you are not panicked at all, and you can come up with effective countermeasures, Bai Yuling said thoughtfully. It was just a sudden whim at the time, so I decided to give it a try. How can I know the result if I don't try it? Zhang Cheng explained. Little brother is very good. Sister is very optimistic about you. With your performance, you can definitely choose any of the 8 famous schools in the country, Bai Yuling said jokingly. Sister, don't mess with me. I know my own strength in my heart. I will say this when I really pass the exam, Zhang Cheng said helplessly. Bai Yuling covered her mouth and chuckled, not knowing what she was thinking. The two kept walking and chatting, and soon came to the treatment room. As soon as I entered the treatment room, I saw the Mosquito tadpole and the Tanabata bluebird playing together. Gookie Mosquito the two Pokémons were chatting and playing together. It seemed that both Pokémons had recovered well and became good friends. When the two Pokémons who were playing saw the trainer coming, they stopped playing and came to their trainer obediently. It was like two naughty children meeting their parents. Looking at the well-behaved appearance of the two Pokémons, Zhang Cheng touched the head of the Mosquito tadpole lovingly, and the Mosquito tadpole also rubbed his head against Zhang Cheng. Looking at the well-behaved Tanabata bluebird next to him, Zhang Cheng couldn't help but reach out and touch its feathers. The Tanabata bluebird was very sensitive to being touched by Zhang Cheng, and after taking away its wings, it glared at Zhang Cheng gently. Looking at the actions of the Kixie bluebird, Bai Yuling chuckled and said, "This Kixie bluebird has a very gentle personality, but it doesn't like strangers. It will get better after more contact with it, so that's the case. Then you have to give me more opportunities to contact the Kixie bluebird in the future." "Haha, I like her feathers," Zhang Cheng said jokingly. Unexpectedly, Bai Yuling said seriously after hearing this, "No problem, come to my sister's place when you are free in the future. Many of my sister's elves can help you take care of them." Zhang Cheng's face was full of black lines. Isn't this really asking him to act as a labor force to take care of her elves? "No problem, I promise to be available at any time in the future," Zhang Cheng said sincerely. After saying that, Zhang Cheng also planned to leave the treatment room with the elves. Just as Zhang Cheng was about to leave, Bai Yuling suddenly said, "Are you going to eat?" Zhang Cheng was stunned. Did the beautiful tutor want to have dinner with him? Is it going too fast? Damn. Thinking about this, Zhang Cheng whispered, "Yes, is that so? Then it's just right that if you finish eating, pack a portion for me and send it over. I don't want to move after a busy day today." These 3 question marks are Zhang Cheng's psychological activities at this time. He thought too much? "Okay, no problem," Zhang Cheng said hurriedly. "Sister, why do you feel a little disappointed?" Bai Yuling said with narrowed eyes. "No, sister, you think too much? If there's nothing, I will go to eat first." After that, Zhang Cheng hurriedly left the treatment room. Looking at Zhang Cheng leaving, Bai Yuling stood there, not knowing what she was thinking. When he came to the cafeteria, Zhang Cheng saw Yitian who was eating. After getting a meal, Zhang Cheng also came to sit next to Yitian. "Where did you go after class in the afternoon?" "Before get out of class, I saw you helping me in the training ground of your class, and you disappeared after class," Yitian asked puzzledly. The mosquito-repellent tadpole was injured during the battle class today and was placed in the treatment room. He went to the treatment room first after class, Zhang Cheng explained. "Is that so? Has the mosquito-repellent tadpole recovered? Is there anything wrong?" Yitian asked. "Some minor injuries, now recovered. By the way, how did your practical teaching class go today?" Zhang Cheng asked while eating. "Don't mention it, I thought it was a battle with the instructor, but it turned out that we were asked to find classmates to compete with each other," Yitian said helplessly. Yitian wanted to fight with high-level elves, so that he could also increase his combat experience. Zhang Cheng also knew Yitian's thoughts, and said directly, "Don't be so anxious, there will definitely be a chance later." Yitian also nodded in response, and the two continued to eat dinner. After dinner, Yitian looked at Zhang Cheng who was walking towards the food window in confusion. What the hell is this kid doing? A moment later, Zhang Cheng came to Yitian with a packed dinner. Seeing Yitian's puzzled look, Zhang Cheng took the initiative to explain. "The instructor of our class asked me to bring her a dinner," Yitian said with an expression that I understand very well. "You kid is really a role model for our generation. I won't bother you anymore, play well." After that, he left the cafeteria first. Watching Yitian's back as he left, Zhang Cheng didn't know how to explain. Maybe explaining was just covering up, and not explaining was the best explanation. Thinking of this, Zhang Cheng stopped thinking about it and took the packed dinner to the teacher's dormitory. Because the contact information was added in the morning, Bai Yuling had already sent the dormitory location to Zhang Cheng in advance. Bai Yuling lived in room 502 of the teacher's dormitory. Zhang Cheng took the elevator to the door of Bai Yuling's room and knocked on the door gently with his hand. Chapter 33 Class in Progress. Soon the door of the room was gently opened. Bai Yuling poked her head out and said to Zhang Cheng in a playful way, "My brother is so good." As she spoke, she took the dinner from Zhang Cheng's hand. "If there is nothing else, I will leave first," Zhang Cheng felt uncomfortable and said while touching his nose. "Why are you leaving so fast? Do you want to come to my room and sit down?" Bai Yuling said with a smile. "That's not good. I have other things to do, so I will leave first." After saying that, Zhang Cheng ran away from the teacher's dormitory. Zhang Cheng thought that if he really went in, he might be taught a lesson by Bai Yuling, and he didn't want to suffer. After going downstairs, Zhang Cheng returned to his dormitory, released 2 elves, and took out the prepared elf food for the 2 elves to eat. Looking at the 2 elves eating, Zhang Cheng had an inexplicable sense of accomplishment, as if he was taking care of his own children. After eating the food, Zhang Cheng also caught the 2 elves and took them to the bathroom to take a bath. Mosquito-repellent tadpoles are not very resistant to taking a bath, but Babo is always a difficult person to take a bath. Maybe all bird elves are like this. When their feathers are wet, they can't fly freely, so they are more resistant to taking a bath. After spending some effort to bathe the 2 elves, it was already early in the morning. Zhang Cheng also planned to rest early, otherwise he would fall asleep again in the theory class tomorrow. Just as Zhang Cheng was about to fall asleep, the notification sound of a message on his mobile phone suddenly rang. Yiyan rarely uses his mobile phone to contact him. Who could it be at this time? While thinking about this, Zhang Cheng also opened his mobile phone to check. When he heard that the mobile phone was resting, no one would be able to resist looking at the specific message. When he opened it, he found that it was a message from Bai Yuling. "Is my brother asleep? Just finished, and I'm getting ready to go to bed. Go to bed so early? Yeah, don't I have my sister's class tomorrow? I dare not sleep in my sister's class." Seeing the message sent by Zhang Cheng, Bai Yuling replied with an expression of rolling her eyes. "You are the one who dares to sleep in my class, and you still say you don't dare. It's unfair, sister. It was just an accident last time. Didn't you say that you would let bygones be bygones?" "Of course, sister said that you won't pursue it, so I won't pursue it. Sister can't sleep now, play games with me. Don't you have classes tomorrow? If you stay any later, you won't be able to endure the classes tomorrow. I'll give you another chance to organize your words." "Sister, I actually want to play games too." "That's good enough." Then Zhang Cheng succumbed to Bai Yuling's tyranny and played online games on his mobile phone with Bai Yuling. He played until nearly 3 o'clock, and Bai Yuling was willing to give up. Seeing that Bai Yuling let him go, Zhang Cheng also hurriedly covered his head and fell asleep. If he didn't sleep, he would die. The next morning, Zhang Cheng came to the classroom with heavy dark circles under his eyes. He didn't even have an appetite for breakfast. He fell asleep as soon as he sat down. The crisp bell rang. Bai Yuling walked into the classroom, and saw Zhang Cheng sleeping soundly at a glance. However, Bai Yuling did not go over to wake Zhang Cheng up, but took out a book and started to teach. Zhang Cheng slept until almost noon, when he was awakened by the sound of Bai Yuling's lecture. He looked up and found that the sun was already overhead. Then Zhang Cheng also looked at Bai Yuling in the direction of the sound, but Bai Yuling was still talking about elves and did not notice that Zhang Cheng had woken up. Looking at Bai Yuling's current appearance, she did not look like she had stayed up until the early morning, and she did not have dark circles under her eyes. Zhang Cheng was very confused. What was going on? Why was Bai Yuling in such a good mental state? Could it be that he was not good enough? Thinking of this, Zhang Cheng shook his head. A man should not think that he was not good enough. Just when Zhang Cheng's thoughts were flying, Bai Yuling also found Zhang Cheng, who had woken up. When their eyes met, Bai Yuling retracted her gaze and continued to teach the elf theory class. Zhang Cheng then realized that he had been in class in the classroom and had slept so hard that he did not know what had happened. However, Bai Yuling was quite righteous. She slept for a whole morning without waking him up. Zhang Cheng was thinking whether he should apply to Bai Yuling not to attend the elf theory class in the future. For Zhang Cheng, learning this knowledge is completely unnecessary. It will only waste his time. The morning passed quickly, and as the bell rang, the students went to the cafeteria. Zhang Cheng came to Yiyan's class, and after finding Yiyan, the two went to eat together. "I heard that you almost defeated your instructor's elf in the battle yesterday," Yiyan asked hurriedly after seeing Zhang Cheng. Yiyan only heard his classmates talking about this matter today. After hearing it, Yiyan still felt it was incredible. Now he wanted to ask clearly as soon as he met. "Well, I relied on luck and used reckless actions, and then beat the instructor's Kixie Bluebird to a near-death state," Zhang Cheng explained to Yiyan. "Even so, it's amazing. I haven't heard of any students who can threaten the instructor's elf. You are the first one, Yi-Yan said excitedly. Okay, stop bragging, hurry up and eat. Come to me after class in the evening and practice with you, Zhang Cheng said while eating. No problem, but why do you seem to be in a bad mood today? Yi-Yan asked, looking at the dark circles under Zhang Cheng's eyes. I was late bathing the elf last night, so I went to bed a little late, Zhang Cheng said guiltily. Okay, then you should try to pay attention. It's not good to be in a bad mental state. Just wait for me in the cafeteria after class in the evening, Yi-Yan patted Zhang Cheng's back and said. After dinner, the two went to their respective classes and started the afternoon course. In the afternoon, Bai Yuling did not continue to teach, but printed some exercises for the students to do. Zhang Cheng lay on the table board, looking at the exercises in front of him without any interest, which were too simple for him. Bai Yuling saw Zhang Cheng in a daze, took out her mobile phone and sent a message to Zhang Cheng, asking, why are you dazed if you don't do the questions? The questions are too simple, I don't want to do them, so you want to do some challenging questions? There are no challenging questions for me, Zhang Cheng replied confidently, pretending to be cool. I really can't do anything about you. Are you so confident that you can master all these theoretical knowledge? I've read a lot about elves before, and I can recite all the elves' knowledge in high school by heart. You're so amazing. When I was in high school, I was overwhelmed by all this theoretical knowledge. I envy you. It's okay. It's okay. Although I'm not as good as me, I'm still pretty good. Haha, go to hell. Chapter 34 Practicing Skills. Zhang Cheng chatted with Bai Yuling in this way. Time always passed quickly during the chat, and it was time to end the get out of class. After class, other students handed their finished homework to Zhang Cheng. There was no other way. As the class monitor, these chores had to be handled by himself. Zhang Cheng took the homework of other students and delivered it to Bai Yuling's office desk. As for why he didn't give it directly to Bai Yuling, it was because she had already left before the get out of class ended. Zhang Cheng could only clean up the mess for her helplessly, and then went to eat with Yi-Yan. After dinner, Zhang Cheng and Yi-Yan came to the training ground together. The sparring scheduled for noon today was about to begin. Zhang Cheng, why do you feel a little abnormal today? In the past, I would find you and you would come out to practice sparring. Why did you take the initiative to ask for sparring today? Yi-Yan asked puzzled. Ahem, of course there is a reason. Zhang Cheng took out the peach fruit he had prepared in advance from his pocket and put it in his hand and said, this is called peach fruit. It is an elf fruit with the ability to detoxify. Yi-Yan rolled his eyes and said, I'm not stupid, of course I know this is peach fruit. What does our battle have to do with this peach fruit? The main reason I asked you to practice today is that I want to practice the thief skill that Mosquito Tadpole learned last time. Zhang Cheng expressed his thoughts. Before, because our elves didn't have props to carry, Mosquito Tadpole couldn't practice the thief skill. But today in class I suddenly remembered that elf fruits can also be carried as props. Yi-Yan cursed. So you mean to let my Butterfree carry this peach fruit, and then let your Mosquito Tadpole steal the fruit? Yes, that's it. Looking at Yi-Yan's excitement, Zhang Cheng continued, of course you will get the benefits. The peach fruit in my hand was earned from my part-time job during the summer vacation. There are 10 fruits in total. I used one during the class division battle. Now there are 9 left. I will give you 4. How about you come and practice with me? Why didn't you tell me about this good thing earlier? Of course I did it. It was agreed that I would give you 4 peach fruits, Yi-Yan said with a change of face faster than turning a page of a book. Zhang Cheng, who knew Yi-Yan's character well, was powerless to complain. He said directly, don't worry. I will take you to get the peach fruit after the practice is over. Okay, then let's practice. I also want to see what the thief skills look like. Yi-Yan took the peach fruit from Zhang Cheng's hand while speaking. Then the two of them released their own elves. Yi-Yan followed the knowledge of carrying props that he had learned before and let the elves absorb the energy of the peach fruit. Then the fruit was carried by Butterfree. Then Yi-Yan tried to let Butterfree take the props. Under the energy condensation of Butterfree, the peach fruit was transformed from energy into a physical object. It has to be said that the magic of these props can actually be converted between energy state and physical state. After confirming that Butterfree can carry peach fruit normally, Zhang Cheng also began to practice the thief skill of the mosquito-scented tadpole. Zhang Cheng commanded the mosquito-scented tadpole to use the thief skill. According to the skill learning machine learned before, the mosquito-scented tadpole rushed directly to Butterfree. Butterfree dodged with a flash, and the thief skill failed. Faced with such a situation, Zhang Cheng was not disappointed, because it is normal to make mistakes when practicing skills at the beginning. If you want to use the skills better, you need to practice continuously and accumulate practical experience. In the following time, the mosquito-scented tadpole has been repeatedly using the thief skill. After a period of practice, the hit rate of the mosquito-scented tadpole's thief skill has reached a success rate of 40%. After a successful hit, it will directly cause damage to Butterfree, and will also transfer the peach fruit it carries on its body as its own carrying props. Seeing the continuous improvement of the hit rate of the mosquito-scented tadpole skills, Zhang Cheng is very satisfied. His mosquito-scented tadpole learns skills quickly and is willing to work hard. After practicing for a while, Zhang Cheng stopped the sparring. The two elves had already consumed a lot of their physical strength. High-intensity training was not a good thing. After the training, Zhang Cheng took Yitian to his dormitory and took out 4 peach fruits he had brought with him and gave them to Yitian. After getting the peach fruits, Yitian said jokingly, "Remember to find me if you have such good things in the future, you wish, go as far as you can," Zhang Cheng said with a look of disgust. Amidst the laughter and scolding, the two separated and returned to their respective dormitories. In fact, peach fruits are not particularly precious fruits, but everyone has just come into contact with these things and is more interested. The relationship between the two of them for so many years is naturally not something that can be measured by a few peach fruits. After returning to the dormitory, Zhang Cheng took out the few remaining energy cubes and gave them to mosquito-repellent tadpole and Babo to eat. After the two elves finished eating, they also began to sleep. After a simple bath, Zhang Cheng also began to rest and prepare to welcome a new day. In the early morning, a new day began with a familiar alarm clock. Today is a practical teaching class. After getting up and having breakfast, Zhang Cheng came to the trainer where his class was. Zhang Cheng felt that he would be particularly sleepy as long as he had a theoretical class, but he would not be sleepy when it came to the practical teaching class, and he would be energetic all of a sudden. As the class was approaching, Bai Yuling also came to the training ground on time. Under the guidance of the instructor, the students of the elite class began another day of study. In this way, Zhang Cheng carried out theoretical knowledge and practical teaching courses day after day. During this period, he also chatted with Bai Yuling on his mobile phone in his spare time every day, and sometimes they would team up to play games together late at night. However, Zhang Cheng has always been particularly puzzled. Bai Yuling always stays up late, but she will be very energetic the next day. I don't know what's going on. Zhang Cheng simply stopped thinking about it when he couldn't think of the reason. He would just ask Bai Yuling when he had the chance. The days passed quickly, and 6 days have passed in a blink of an eye. Today is Saturday, and it is also the last day of the week. After completing today's course, it will be Sunday. Sunday is also the only day off a week. Everyone can relax and relieve the fatigue of the week. However, Zhang Cheng did not feel that much about Sunday, because he did not have to spend time studying theoretical knowledge, which was much easier than other students. Bai Yuling also turned a blind eye to Zhang Cheng during the theoretical class, which led to Zhang Cheng sleeping or browsing his phone out of boredom during the theoretical class. If other students knew that Zhang Cheng was living such a comfortable life, they would probably be furious. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 35 Trainer Title. With the ringing of the bell, the week's classes are over and the holiday is coming soon. Every time I hear the last bell before the holiday, I always feel that this sound is so beautiful. After class, Zhang Cheng still ate dinner with Yitian as usual, and then discussed the matter of continuing to practice in the evening. Don't run away after dinner, let's practice again. My Butterfree feels like it will soon reach level 12. I need to fight more recently to increase my experience, Yitian said excitedly. So fast, my Butterfree is still level 10 now, but it should be level 11 soon, Zhang Cheng said in surprise. I only have one Pokémon now, so I have more time to cultivate it, and it is normal for insect Pokémon to level up faster. After confirming the practice in the evening, the two buried their heads in eating. By the way, there is something I almost forgot, but fortunately I remembered it, Yitian suddenly said. What's the matter? You suddenly did this and scared me. I heard from our class instructor that after the Pokemon reaches level 10, you can challenge the trainer title. Yan rubbed his hands and said. Are you talking about the entry-level trainer assessment? Zhang Cheng said thoughtfully. Yes, the challenge condition for the entry-level trainer is to have a level 10 Pokemon. I plan to find you to challenge you tomorrow, Yan said while eating. There's nothing to do tomorrow, so it's a good opportunity to go and see it together. But why are you suddenly interested in this? Based on Zhang Cheng's understanding of Yan, this guy would never do anything without benefits. Getting the trainer title can get a reward of 20,000 Pokemon coins. This is also the official incentive and subsidy for trainers from the league, Yan explained with a money-grubbing mind. So that's the case, then let's go together tomorrow. It would be stupid not to make money, Zhang Cheng also agreed. No problem, then tonight's competition will be cancelled. I want Butterfree to rest and keep in shape, and strive to get the title of entry-level trainer tomorrow. After the two confirmed tomorrow's affairs, they went their separate ways to do their own things. This is also what Zhang Cheng thinks is a good thing about making friends with Yan. When there is something to do, they help each other, and when there is nothing to do, they don't bother each other. This may be the best state of friends. After dinner, Zhang Cheng had nothing to do. He lay on the bedboard, and the two elves beside him were eating their dinner. Just when Zhang Cheng's thoughts were flying, a message suddenly came to his mobile phone. Zhang Cheng guessed that it should be sent by Bai Yuling. When he opened it, it was indeed true. Bai Yuling asked, Brother, what are your plans for tomorrow's holiday? I made an appointment with my friends to challenge the title of entry-level trainer, is that so? Sister is also going to ask you to accompany me shopping, so let's do it next time. Hearing about shopping, Zhang Cheng's legs suddenly became weak. Accompanying a woman shopping is a physical job. Okay, no problem, Zhang Cheng replied. I heard from the school that today's college entrance examination is different from the previous ones. If you want to be eligible to take the trainer exam, you must get the title of ordinary trainer before the exam. The purpose of the official league doing this should be to eliminate some trainers who have no talent and don't work hard. Yes, there are more and more people becoming trainers now, so the threshold will be raised accordingly. If you want to get the title of ordinary trainer, at least one of your Pokemon must be above level 21. It should be difficult for a small number of trainers to complete this task before the college entrance examination. However, Zhang Cheng did not have too much pressure. He cultivated the tadpole and the ripple in his own way. Zhang Cheng was confident that he could enter the 8 famous schools. Sister should have taken these assessments before. Do you have any information to tell your brother in advance? Zhang Cheng thought that Bai Yuling had become a gym-level trainer, so she must have challenged the entry-level and ordinary trainer titles before, and she also understood the challenge process. The challenge for entry-level trainers is relatively simple. As long as the level of the Pokemon is higher than 10, there is a high probability that it can be passed. Bai Yuling continued, the battle is in a one-on-one format. The venue is a normal battle venue. The opponent will use a level 10 Pokemon that does not restrain the attributes of your Pokemon to fight. Listening to the information Bai Yuling said, Zhang Cheng also felt that it was indeed not too difficult. The opponent will deliberately avoid attribute restraint, which undoubtedly gave the trainer a lot of room. The challenge for normal level trainers is relatively difficult, and a random battle venue will be used. The venue is divided into 4 major venues: ice, grass, water, and rock. A draw will be held at the beginning of the battle to confirm the venue. Both sides use 2 Pokemon. The level of the opponent's Pokemon is level 21. The only advantage is that the opponent cannot replace Pokemon. The difficulty of normal level trainers has indeed increased greatly. After all, this is a watershed. Only after entering the normal level can you be considered a real trainer. Thank you for telling me so much, sister. Haha, why are you so polite, brother? It's my duty as a mentor to help my students. Then sister, please help me challenge tomorrow, and help others to the end. Greek letter Omega. After this conversation with Bai Yuling, Zhang Cheng also mastered a lot of information, and was fully prepared for the challenges ahead. Next, Zhang Cheng sent the information Bai Yuling told him to Yan in text, so that Yan could understand some of the situation in advance and deal with tomorrow's battle. After doing this, Zhang Cheng also covered his head and fell asleep, ready to meet tomorrow's challenge in a good mental state. The next morning, since Zhang Cheng went to bed very early last night, he woke up before the alarm clock rang today. After a simple packing, He went out to the cafeteria. The two agreed to have breakfast in the cafeteria and then go to the trainer title together. Did you see the information I sent you? Zhang Cheng asked Yan as he walked over. I saw it. Where did you get such detailed information? Yan asked puzzledly. I asked our instructor last night, and she told me, Zhang Cheng explained. So that's how it is. Knowing the situation in advance is still useful for the challenges later. Yan nodded. Let's go. Let's eat first. Only when you are full will you have the energy to challenge. Zhang Cheng waved his hand. I agree with this. After Yan finished speaking, he walked directly to the cafeteria. Chapter 36, Challenge Tower. After breakfast, the two left the school and walked towards the Challenge Tower. To obtain the title of trainer, you need to challenge the Challenge Tower in the local city. After winning, you can pass the official certification of the Alliance and obtain the corresponding title. Since the location of the Challenge Tower is far from Jiangcheng No. 1 Middle School, Zhang Cheng and the others also found a means of transportation. Originally, Zhang Cheng planned to call a taxi, but Yan insisted on renting a flame horse. At Yan's request, the two rented a flame horse as a means of transportation. The price of using elves as a means of transportation is simply different from that of a taxi. It takes 1,000 elf coins to rent an elf to reach the Challenge Tower, while a taxi only needs 200 elf coins. However, this feeling of luxury is really good. Is this the happiness of the rich? This flame horse has been tamed and is very docile. After sitting on the horse's back, there is no burning feeling as imagined. Anyway, it is very comfortable. Listening to Yan's command, the flame horse galloped towards the Challenge Tower. The Challenge Tower is just like its name. It is a tower-shaped building that is out of tune with the surrounding high-rise buildings. After arriving at the destination, the two of them went directly into the tower, which was decorated in an ancient style. After arriving at the front desk and explaining their purpose, the two took out their Pokémon encyclopedias and gave them to the staff for registration. The staff asked the two to wait for a moment, and then operated on the computer. Okay, now you can enter the A1 and A2 rooms on the left to fight. There are corresponding examiners inside, the staff's voice came, and at the same time, he took two magnetic cards and gave them to the two. Zhang Cheng and Yan each took a magnetic card and entered their respective battle venues under the guidance of the staff. Zhang Cheng chose the A1 battle room, and after entering, there was a middle-aged man sitting inside. Are you a trainer who came for the assessment? The middle-aged man looked up at Zhang Cheng and said. Yes, I am here to take the entry-level trainer title assessment, Zhang Cheng said calmly. Then let's start now. The middle-aged man pressed a button on the side, and the floor quickly sank, and a battle venue rose from the bottom up. Zhang Cheng also knew the rules in advance, so he didn't say any more nonsense and released the mosquito coil tadpole directly. Come out, mosquito tadpole. Oh? You've cultivated this mosquito tadpole quite well, the middle-aged man praised. Thank you, senior, Zhang Cheng also replied politely. In that case, I'll send you to the field. The middle-aged man threw his Pokeball directly. As the Pokeball was thrown, a yellow and white crab appeared on the battlefield. The opponent sent a large claw crab. Zhang Cheng opened the system and scanned the information of the large claw crab. Name, large claw crab, level 10, gender, male qualification, D+ attribute, water carrying props, none basic skills, clamp, play with mud, stare, foam learning skills, none inherited skills. Black mist characteristics, hard shell armor, Pokémon with this characteristic will not be hit in the vitals, even if the moves that are sure to hit the vitals will not hit the vitals. Note, large claw crab, a crab that lives on the coast, with an average height of 40 centimeters. After reading it, Zhang Cheng also had a certain understanding of the assessment situation. The elves sent by trainer examiners are generally not very qualified, and the elves used are relatively ordinary elves of the same level. If the elves used are too strong, most trainers will be excluded. When the two sides started fighting, the opponent's big crab was also very fierce, holding its big claws and rushing towards the mosquito tadpole. Seeing the aggressive big crab, the mosquito tadpole quickly dodged. In terms of speed, the big crab is at a disadvantage. The most terrifying thing about the big crab is its physical attack. The racial value of the big crab has a physical attack of 105. Being clamped by its claws may be killed directly. But it is precisely because of the terrifying physical attack of the big crab that its special defense is very low. Using water guns and foam beams can also cause good damage to the big crab. After the continuous use of the clamping attack failed, the big crab also decisively stopped attacking. Then it charged on the spot to launch a foam attack. The damage of the big crab's foam attack is not high, but this skill has a probability of slowing down the elves. This middle-aged man is a very experienced trainer. He attacks by clamping the crab, giving full play to the advantages of the crab. After the attack failed, he quickly changed his tactics and used foam attacks to consume it while slowing down the tadpoles. Seeing the crab using foam attacks, Zhang Cheng no longer let the tadpoles dodge. Under Zhang Cheng's command, the tadpoles used foam beams to attack, and the skills of both sides hit each other. The foam beams of the tadpoles are more powerful. After being attacked, the crabs also retreated one after another, obviously suffering from serious injuries. In contrast, there are many tadpoles, but they only suffered a little injury. As long as the tadpoles are not slowed down by the foam attack, the clamping attack of the crab will be difficult to hit. The tadpoles are also well aware of this. In the previous battles, it has accumulated a lot of combat experience. When the crab uses the clamping attack, the tadpoles will immediately stop attacking and dodge. When the crab wants to consume it through foam, the tadpoles use foam beams to attack the crab. As a result, after a period of consumption, the life value of the big crab also reached the bottom. At this time, the big crab no longer hesitated and rushed directly to the mosquito coil tadpole, using its last attack to clamp the skill. This was a desperate struggle for the big crab. The mosquito coil tadpole did not take it lightly because of its current advantage. It continued to distance itself from the big crab. When the big crab was empty, it directly used the water gun skill to defeat the big crab. The big crab lost its ability to fight. Congratulations to the challenger Zhang Cheng for winning the title of entry-level trainer. A voice broadcast came from the sky above the battle room. Obviously, the battles here are monitored by monitoring facilities throughout the process to ensure the fairness and transparency of the battles. The Alliance has done a good job in this regard. Before, many trainers lost to the big crab's claws because of carelessness. You are very talented and your future achievements will definitely not be low. The middle-aged man on the opposite side gave an evaluation to Zhang Cheng. Senior, you are too kind. I am just a new trainer. There is still a long way to go in the future. No one can predict what will happen, Zhang Cheng responded modestly. The middle-aged man smiled and signaled Zhang Cheng to leave. Zhang Cheng nodded to the middle-aged man and walked out of the training room. After coming out, Zhang Cheng did not see Yan, thinking that he was still fighting. Zhang Cheng went back to the front desk and registered his entry-level trainer title in the file with the staff. Then Zhang Cheng waited for Yan in the rest area next to the fighting room. Chapter 37 Friendly Match. About 10 minutes later, Yan walked out of the battle room with a smile on his face. Seeing Yan like this, Zhang Cheng already knew the result of the battle. Let's go. Go to the front desk to register and then you can go back to school. Zhang Cheng stood up and walked towards the staff. Yan, who is about to report his results, was stunned. I haven't said whether I won or lost yet. Wait for me. The two came to the staff again, registered Yan's information, and left the challenge tower directly after confirming that there was no problem. I'm telling you, you don't know how powerful I was just now. The big bee on the opposite side was beaten by me without any chance to fight back. Yan started bragging mode as soon as he came out. Awesome, awesome, worthy of being the future insect king. I admit defeat, Zhang Cheng echoed. Damn, forget it if you don't believe it. Wait until the next game. I'll let you see my strength. Okay, I will definitely show you next time, Zhang Cheng said weakly. Zhang Cheng, when will the 20,000 elf coins you won be credited to your account? Yan suddenly remembered the elf coins. Did the staff say that it would be credited to your account within 2 working days? You're in such a hurry. You can't escape, Zhang Cheng rolled his eyes and said. Did that mean it would be 2 days at most? I mean, when will it be credited to your account at the earliest? Yan said expectantly. Zhang Cheng was too lazy to answer this question and stopped a taxi on the roadside. An hour later, the two returned to school and had a simple lunch. In the afternoon, they continued to practice against each other. Improving one's own strength is the kingly way. Zhang Cheng and Yan have the same idea on this point. In their spare time, they both think about ways to improve the strength of the elves and increase their combat experience. After an afternoon of training, the two elves also broke through. The mosquito repellent tadpole has reached level 11, and Yuan's butterfly has reached level 12. The battle this morning has already brought the two elves close to the edge of upgrading. Now, after fighting and increasing combat experience, it is not surprising that they have upgraded. After the upgrade of the Mosquito coil tadpole, Zhang Cheng also stopped training. The elves had just upgraded and needed a certain amount of time to adapt. It was best not to do high-intensity training at this time. Zhang Cheng originally planned to let Popo come out to continue fighting with Yuan, but Yuan only had one Butterfree. Butterfree, which had just been upgraded, was obviously not suitable for continuing to fight. Zhang Cheng had no choice but to give up this idea. When do you plan to capture the second elf? The next ordinary level trainer assessment requires at least 2 elves, Zhang Cheng said to Yuan. I haven't thought about it yet. I want to choose the right elf and don't want to make do, Yuan expressed his thoughts. That's right, it's better to choose carefully. There's still more than half a year before the college entrance examination, and there is plenty of time, Zhang Cheng nodded. Since the Mosquito coil tadpole and Butterfree were both resting, the two had nothing to do. They wandered around the campus. When they were tired, they went to have dinner and went back to their homes. After returning to the dormitory, Zhang Cheng continued to take out food to feed the two elves, and then turned on his mobile phone to read the news about the elves. Unfortunately, after browsing for a long time, there was no valuable information, so Zhang Cheng simply threw his phone aside and went to take a shower. After taking a shower, Zhang Cheng found that the two Pokémon had finished their food and started chatting. Pidgeot Pidgeot Mosquito Mosquito. Unfortunately, Zhang Cheng couldn't understand what they were saying. I hope they are not saying bad things about the trainer, otherwise Zhang Cheng must punish them if he knows. The message alert sounded on the phone, and Zhang Cheng opened the phone and saw that it was a message from Bai Yuling. It was a forwarded message, which roughly meant that a friendly match between the elite classes would be held on the next Friday and Saturday. The principal just sent a notice that there will be a competition between classes on the weekend of next week, and each class will select 10 students to participate. There is no need to talk about this kind of thing, just fight. It's not interesting, Zhang Cheng said uninterested. There are rewards for the competition. What rewards? Hearing about the rewards aroused Zhang Cheng's interest. The school attaches great importance to the third year of high school, so the rewards must be good. The principal's home has a wild wilderness area. The top 3 in this competition can enter and capture elves. There seems to be only one wild wilderness area in Jiangcheng City. Is it opened by our principal? It should be. Anyway, that's what the principal said. When the time comes, perform well and go there to see if there are any elves you want. Okay, I got it, and tomorrow I will formally notify the others in class, and then you need to select 10 students to fight. This task is left to you. That's why my sister is looking for me. Zhang Cheng rolled his eyes. How is it possible? Of course I care about my brother. I told you about this good thing as soon as possible. Okay, I believe it. Come and play games with me. It's too boring to play alone. I have to go to class tomorrow. My dear sister, when have you not slept in my class? Don't make excuses. Enter the game quickly. Zhang Cheng could only succumb to Bai Yuling's tyranny. The two played until the early morning. Zhang Cheng really couldn't stand it anymore. He talked to Bai Yuling and went to bed. The next morning, Zhang Cheng came to the classroom with 2 big dark circles under his eyes. The classmates in the class have become accustomed to this. This monitor is really a role model for our generation. He sleeps in class every day, and the key is that the beautiful teacher doesn't care. This really makes everyone envious and jealous. Bai Yuling came to the classroom as usual when the class bell rang and started today's course explanation. Zhang Cheng slept until noon, and was awakened by Yuan, who came to the classroom. What's going on with you recently? The get out of class is over and it's time to go to eat. Yuan patted Zhang Cheng and said. It's okay, let's go and eat. Zhang Cheng rubbed his eyes and got up and walked towards the cafeteria. Our class teacher told us this morning that there will be a friendly match this week, and it will be with your class. Yuan asked Zhang Cheng. Did your class get notified? Zhang Cheng nodded. He already knew it last night. But he really didn't know whether Zhang Cheng was notified in class. He didn't wake up at all in the morning. Have you heard about the reward? You can go to the principal's place to catch Pokémon. I wonder if there are any rare Pokémon there. There should be. The Pokémon resources in the only wild wilderness area in Jiangcheng must be very rich. It depends on whether the principal is willing to open the rare Pokémon area. Zhang Cheng thought for a while and said. Chapter 38 Selection. I hope the principal will release the rare elves, so that I can get a quasi-god, Yi-Yan said in a daydream. Just dream on. Quasi-gods have long been monopolized by the Alliance and big families. Even if there are few wild ones, they can't appear in the wild wilderness. Zhang Cheng directly asked Yi-Yan to face the reality. Thinking about it is not enough, damn it, Yi-Yan said depressedly. Zhang Cheng shook his head and asked, your class should also select 10 students to fight with us. Yes, the number of students in the two classes is the same, Yi-Yan nodded in response. How did your class choose 10 students? Because Bai Yuling handed this matter to Zhang Cheng. Zhang Cheng was also curious about how Yi-Yan's class would select people, so he copied a wave of homework directly. The instructor directly asked those who wanted to participate to stand up, leaving 10 students, and the remaining people could replace the other party if they succeeded in the challenge. This is indeed the most reasonable way, which can ensure that the 10 strongest students in the class are selected, but this method also has a disadvantage, which is that it takes a lot of time to screen. If an elf is injured, it needs to wait for the injury to recover before it can continue to fight. Zhang Cheng thought about it and said the disadvantages of this method. There is no way. There are pros and cons. It depends on how you choose, Yi-Yan said helplessly. That's true, Zhang Cheng agreed, and then continued, our instructor has given me the task of selecting the contestants, and I have to think of a way to determine the quota. Then why don't you try this method of our class? Yi-Yan asked. I'll think about it again and see if there is any fast and accurate way, Zhang Cheng said, covering his forehead. Okay, let's eat first, there's still time, think slowly. Well, eat. During the afternoon class, Zhang Cheng was thinking about how to shorten the selection time and accurately select strong students. After thinking about it, Zhang Cheng still planned to use the method used by Yi-Yan's class, but he made some optimizations based on this method. First, 10 students who were already strong before were selected, and then the remaining 10 students were given only one challenge opportunity each. This would save a lot of time, and there would be only 10 battles at most. This approach is not as accurate as Class 2, but it can also save more time for learning courses. In many cases, it is impossible to be completely fair, and all we can do is to ensure fairness as much as possible. After confirming the method, Zhang Cheng no longer thought about it and waited for the arrival of the practical teaching class tomorrow. Tomorrow's practical teaching class will be used to select these 10 students to compete with Class 2. Time passed quickly, and in the blink of an eye it was Tuesday. Zhang Cheng also told Bai Yuling his plan in advance, and today was used to confirm the trainers who would participate in the competition. Zhang Cheng first selected the 10 people with the highest Pokémon levels from the 20 people, and then gave each of the remaining 10 students a chance to challenge. Among the 10 people are Zhang Cheng and Wu Yu. Zhang Cheng's EV is currently at level 11, and Wu Yu's EV has also reached level 10. At present, the average level of the class's elves is slightly below level 10. Among the 10 students who entered the pre-selection, only Zhang Cheng's elves are at level 11. The elves of the other 9 students are at level 10, and the elves of the 10 students who were not selected are all at level 9. It can be seen that the strength of the students in the elite class is still good. Just one summer vacation after becoming a trainer, they have already cultivated elves to a level close to the entry level. After Zhang Cheng told all the students about the rules for the subsequent selection, the 10 students who were not selected were a little unhappy, but there was nothing they could do, because their elves were not at a high enough level. After understanding the rules clearly, the 10 students began to choose their opponents, but Zhang Cheng waited for a long time and did not see anyone choose him. After the last battle between Eevee and Tenabita Bluebird, everyone was also shocked by Zhang Cheng's EV. It is better to pick the soft persimmons. There are so many level 10 elves. Choosing the 11th level and powerful mosquito repellent tadpole is asking for trouble. Soon all the students chose their opponents. Because no one chose Zhang Cheng, some students were challenged by 2 students. After each of them confirmed their opponents, Zhang Cheng organized the students to fight one by one. After a day of fighting, the last 10 participating trainers have been confirmed. Among the 10 students with level 9 elves, only one successfully got a place. The remaining 8 are all level 10 elves, plus Zhang Cheng's level 11 mosquito repellent tadpole. After confirming that there is no problem with the quota, Zhang Cheng also handed the list to Bai Yuling. The rules of the friendly match are that the 10 trainers from the 2 classes will draw lots to fight each other, and the 10 winning trainers will enter the second round. The second round is a random draw, with a certain probability of facing classmates in the same class. 5 trainers will be selected in the second round, one of whom will get a place directly after a bye, and the remaining 4 will fight each other, and the winner will get the place. Such a competition mechanism has great flaws, and luck accounts for a large part. A good draw may change the fate of many people. But where is absolute fairness? When your strength reaches a strong enough level, you don't have to rely on so-called luck. Now I am quietly waiting for the game on Friday to start, hoping to get the top 3 and get the Pokémon I need as I wish. After confirming the quota, there was a brief calm. In the remaining 2 days, everyone followed a normal rhythm to learn theoretical knowledge and combat skills. On Thursday afternoon, the pleasant bell rang, representing the end of the day's class. Tomorrow is the day for the friendly match to begin. After class, Zhang Cheng found Yi Yan, and the two had dinner together and learned about each other's class. After all, classmates in their own class must know each other better. At the end of the game, 3 trainers were selected to qualify for capturing Pokémon. In other words, as long as Yi Yan and Zhang Cheng were not assigned to the same group to fight, they were not actually hostile. Zhang Cheng was the first to talk about the situation of his own class. Except for me, most of the other trainers in our class have level 10 Pokémon, and there is one trainer whose Pokémon is only level 9. I feel that the overall strength of your class is weaker than ours. Except for me, Hao Changgong's Nuanun Pig has reached level 11, and the rest of the trainers are also at level 10, Yi Yan said after learning about the situation of Zhang Cheng's class. Chapter 39. The game begins. From the current situation, it is confirmed that your class 2 is stronger, and there is a high probability that your class will have one more place in the end. Zhang Cheng analyzed the current situation. Don't worry about that for now. The most important thing is to ensure that you can advance and get a place, Yi Yan said bluntly. This is confirmed. As long as we don't draw the same lot, it's fine. There is a high probability that we can both advance. Zhang Cheng thought for a while and said, "Oh, I hope my luck won't be so bad. We shouldn't be divided together. We'll know when the draw for the competition tomorrow." It's useless to think so much now. The two of them briefly communicated about the situation. After dinner, they took the elves to practice skills to prepare for tomorrow's competition. There was no conversation all night. The next morning, with the sound of the alarm, a new day began. Zhang Cheng came to the training ground. At this time, many students from Class 1 and Class 2 were already sitting in the rest area. The school specially invited several professional referees for this friendly match to ensure the fairness of the game. As time went by, more and more students came to the training ground, and the instructors of the 2 classes also arrived at the end. The instructor of Class 2 is a middle-aged man named Liu Feng, who is said to be a gym-level trainer who is good at using ground-type Pokémon. After the 2 arrived at the competition venue, they communicated with a referee to confirm the process of the competition. A moment later, the 2 referees came to the 2 classes with a lottery box and began to draw lots. The 10 participating trainers of Class 1 drew lots in order, and Zhang Cheng was lucky enough to draw the number 1. This means that he will play against a trainer with a number 1 lottery in Class 2 in the first game. After everyone drew the lot, the referee directly announced the information of the 10 matches in the first round. Zhang Cheng played against a trainer who used Spearow, named Li Yu, who is one of the weaker trainers in Class 2. Yi Yan drew the number 5 lottery and played against Wu Yuiu. It seems that Wu Yuiu is likely to be eliminated. Zhang Cheng still recognizes Yi Yan's strength. And Zhang Cheng also saw Yi Lang, whom he met in the Nanting training ground, in the information of these fighting trainers. I hope you won't be eliminated too early, otherwise I won't be able to convince you. After learning about the battle information, Zhang Cheng also came to the battle area, waiting for the referee's instructions. Next, please invite the number 1 player to the left battle area, and the number 2 player to the right battle area. The referee's loud voice came. The game adopts the 2-game simultaneous mode to speed up the progress of the game. Hearing the referee's instructions, Zhang Cheng went directly to the platform, only to see a chubby little fat man coming towards him. It was Zhang Cheng's opponent Li Yu in this game. After the 2 came to the battle area and prepared, the referee blew the whistle to start the game. Both sides threw their Pokeballs at the same time. Go, Mosquito. Spearow, it's your turn to perform. Zhang Cheng opened the system and checked the information of Spearow. Name, Spearow, level 10, gender, male qualification, C attributes, flying, general carrying items, none basic skills, calling, pecking, Staring, chasing learning skills. Steel Wing's inherited skills, lightning flash, scare characteristics, sharp eyes. The height rate ability change will not be reduced by the opponent in any way, ignoring the improvement of the target's dodge rate ability change. Note, Spearow, unlike the Pidgeot, has a hot temper and sometimes attacks humans and other Pokémon. This Spearow's qualifications are pretty good, with inherited skills, and the trainer also spent a lot of effort to let Spearow learn the Steel Wings skill. This little fat guy is still good at training Pokémon, but I don't know how much experience he has in fighting. Zhang Cheng didn't intend to wait and see, and directly commanded the Mosquito to use the bubble beam to attack. Spearow's reaction was also very fast, using the advantage of flying to avoid the bubble beam. After dodging the attack of the Mosquito, Spearow also launched an attack, using the lightning flash directly to rush towards the Mosquito. The lightning flashed very fast. Seeing that he couldn't avoid it, the tadpole continued to use the bubble beam and fought head-on with the Spearow. Both elves were hurt at the same time. There was no attribute restraint effect, and both elves were only slightly injured. In general, the tadpole had a slight advantage in this short fight. With the leading level and the power of the skills, the Spearow suffered more damage. Seeing the current situation, the fat man Liu also knew that he couldn't fight the opponent's tadpole head-on. The opponent chose to let the Spearow continue to use the advantage of the high altitude to dodge with skills, and then look for opportunities to attack. However, Zhang Cheng had long anticipated that the opponent would have such a choice, and directly let the tadpole use the Eye of the Heart. Liu obviously didn't understand the Eye of the Heart skill, and thought it was an attack-type skill, and continued to command the Spearow to dodge. The tadpole successfully used the Eye of the Heart, and then a bubble beam was sent out at a very fast speed. This time, the Spearow didn't have time to dodge and was directly knocked to the ground by the bubble beam. At this time, Liu realized that the Heart's Eye used by the opponent was actually a support-type skill, and he also secretly said that he had not done enough homework. Seeing that he was already at a disadvantage, Liu also made a quick decision and planned to let Slaying Sparrow use the Steel Wing skill he had just learned. Liu also gave the Steel Wing skill learning machine he had just bought last week to Slaying Sparrow. At present, Slaying Sparrow's proficiency in Steel Wing is not very high, and it will consume a lot of physical strength after using it, so Liu will not let Slaying Sparrow use it easily. This is also the current trump card of Slaying Sparrow. Now that it has fallen into disadvantage, it can only use the Steel Wing trick to fight to the death. Watching Slaying Sparrow launch Steel Wing to rush towards the Mosquito Coil Tadpole, Zhang Cheng knew that this was the last blow of Slaying Sparrow. Zhang Cheng planned to let the Mosquito Coil Tadpole take a hit from the Steel Wing, and then defeat Slaying Sparrow with a bubble beam. With Zhang Cheng's combat experience, it can be confirmed that Slaying Sparrow's Steel Wing trick cannot defeat the Mosquito Coil Tadpole with more than half of its health. But thinking that there is still a second round of competition in the afternoon. If the elf is seriously injured, it may not be able to recover to the best condition in a few hours. Thinking of this, Zhang Cheng also gave up the idea of a quick victory, and commanded the mosquito-repellent tadpole to avoid a Steel Wing attack as much as possible. But the Steel Wing of the Slark was not so easy to avoid. Even though the mosquito-repellent tadpole was trying his best to avoid it, it was still hit by the Steel Wing in the end. However, the mosquito-repellent tadpole's avoidance was not completely ineffective, because the mosquito-repellent tadpole's avoidance required the Slark to adjust the direction of attack, which also reduced the power of the Steel Wing. After using the Steel Wing, the Slark was already at the end of its strength, and it was difficult to avoid the mosquito-repellent tadpole's attack because of too much physical consumption. Finally, it lost its combat ability under the mosquito-repellent tadpole's continuous water gun attack. Chapter 40 The Charm of Tactics. Spearow has lost its ability to fight. The winner of this match is Zhang Cheng. Seeing that Spearow had lost its ability to fight, the referee immediately announced a final result. I still have too little practical experience, and I don't know enough about the skills. Liu scratched his head and said, practical experience can be accumulated slowly, and theoretical knowledge should be read more often. It will be of great help in the battle, Zhang Cheng said to Liu. Liu, the little fat man, is quite nice. Zhang Cheng gave him some advice out of kindness. Thank you for your advice, haha. If I have a chance in the future, I will get back at you, Liu said confidently. You're always welcome. After saying that, Zhang Cheng walked down the battlefield. When passing by the rest area of Class 2, Yan gave Zhang Cheng a thumbs up, and Zhang Cheng also responded to Evian with a thumbs up. Next is the match between number 3 and number 4. Both sides' Pokemon are level 10. The two sides fought back and forth, which is quite entertaining. Unfortunately, the two winners in the end are both trainers of Class 2, and number 2 was also won by Class 2. At present, only Zhang Cheng from Class 1 has advanced to the next round, and the other 3 players have been eliminated in the other 3 games. In addition, in the next game, Evian will play against Wu Yu. It is likely that Evian will win. Class 1 will eliminate another player, and Hao Chengguang will come on the field later. With a leading level of the 3 starter Pokémons, Nunuanzhu, it is likely that he can also win. In this way, Class 1 is actually equivalent to having 5 trainers who will be eliminated. In terms of overall strength, Class 2 is indeed better. Next is the battle between number 5 Evian and Wu Yu. After the two came on stage, they also greeted each other. After all, they were classmates before, and Evian had copied Wu Yu's homework a lot. But friendship is friendship, and the competition still depends on hard power. Both sides will show their strongest combat power, which is also a respect for the opponent. Under the command of the referee, the two released their Pokemon. Eevee, it's time to come out and fight. Butterfree, go, go, go. Zhang Cheng was also somewhat curious about how strong Wu Yu's Eevee was, so he opened the system and checked all the information of the two elves. Name, Eevee, level 10, gender, female, qualification, C+ attributes, general carrying props, none basic skills, impact, wagging tail, barking, help, throwing sand, lightning flash, learning skills, none inherited skills, prey, crazy characteristics, adaptability. The power of moves with the same attributes as itself will be additionally improved. Note, Eevee, an evolving Pokemon, will evolve into different types due to various factors. Wu Yu's Eevee's qualifications are above average, and the inherited skills are quite good. Both skills are very useful. However, the disadvantage is that Eevee has not evolved yet, and has learned relatively few attack skills. The characteristics are quite good, which can increase the power of general skills. Wu Yu can rely on Eevee to enter the elite class, and Eevee's adaptability characteristics are indispensable. If it weren't for meeting Evian, Zhang Cheng believed that Wu Yu's strength could definitely enter the second round, and this Eevee is definitely a leader in the same level. Next, Zhang Cheng also looked at the current state of Butterfree. He had to grasp the intelligence of his best friend as soon as possible. Name, Butterfree, level 12, gender, female, qualification, C attributes, flying, insect carrying items, peach fruit, basic skills, impact, insect bite, silk spinning, hardening, wind, telekinesis, hypnotic powder, learning skills, guarding, inherited skills, none characteristics, compound eyes. Because it has compound eyes, the hit rate of skills will be multiplied by 1.3 times. Notes, Butterfree, a butterfly Pokemon, is the evolution of Metapod, and can bounce on the water with the scales on its wings. The peach fruit given to Evian before has also been carried by Butterfree, which can have a one-time detoxification effect. After Evian's Butterfree was upgraded, it mastered 2 new skills, telekinesis and hypnotic powder. If the hypnotic powder is used well, it can achieve a very terrifying effect. After the elves lose their combat effectiveness for a short time, they will instantly reverse the situation. After learning the telekinesis skill, it will also have a better effect against fighting in poison elves. Combined with the defending skills learned before, the combat power of Evian's Butterfree is very terrifying. After looking at the situation of the two elves, Zhang Cheng has a rough prediction of the final result. Soon the battle began. Evian took advantage of Butterfree's flexibility and used telekinesis to attack. Eevee didn't have any long-range attack skills before it evolved. Evian was also experienced and knew this well, so he didn't give Eevee any chance to attack at close range. Butterfree's body was originally fragile. If it was hit by Eevee's lightning flash with characteristic bonus, it would also be severely injured. After being kited by the opponent, Eevee didn't continue to try to use lightning flash. Instead, he directly used the wish to restore his health, while restoring his health and avoiding Butterfree's attack. As time went on, Butterfree's attack hit Eevee several times, but Eevee relied on the wish skill to restore his health and didn't fall down. After Butterfree used the wind skill again, his physical strength was also consumed a lot, and his speed was not so fast. Eevee seized the opportunity, took the wind skill, and directly launched a frenzy attack. Eevee's flexible body jumped into the air, waving its claws wildly at Butterfree, who was too late to dodge Eevee's sudden attack. The Frenzy skill will increase its power when used when the health value is low. Combined with Eevee's adaptability, this hit may directly kill the fragile Butterfree. Wu Yu's strength has been fully demonstrated in this battle. She used the prayer skill to fight a protracted battle with Butterfree, waiting for the opportunity to attack. And at the last moment, she used the wind skill to lower Eevee's health line, thereby maximizing the power of the frenzy skill. Making such an operation is a test of the trainer's combat experience. If the power of the wind skill and Eevee's health value are misjudged, Eevee may be directly defeated by the wind skill. But Zhang Cheng still said that it was a pity that he met Tian. If it were any other opponent, he would most likely be defeated by this frenzy trick at this time, but Tian's Butterfree would defend this skill. What happened next was just as Zhang Cheng had expected. Eevee's strongest attack was directly neutralized by Butterfree's defensive skill. When one's long-planned strongest attack was easily blocked by the opponent, only those who have experienced it personally know how desperate it is. The crazy skill was perfectly neutralized, and Eevee's health was at the bottom. Wu Yu was now in a desperate situation. Using the wish at this time would undoubtedly make her a sitting duck. After the attack failed, Wu Yu also commanded Eevee to keep a distance to prevent Butterfree's sudden attack. But how could Tian miss this opportunity? Butterfree flapped its wings quickly and rushed to the retreating Eevee. The Bug Bite skill was directly activated, biting the retreating Eevee. Under the high-damage Bug Bite attack, Eevee, whose health was already very low, directly lost its combat ability. Chapter 41, Enemies Meet on a Narrow Road. Ibrahimovic has lost his ability to fight, and the winner of this match is Tian. The referee announced the result of the match directly after seeing Ibrahimovic fall. Wu Yu was also a little sad after losing the match. It was indeed not happy for anyone to be eliminated in the first round. Seeing the depressed Wu Yu, Tian also said some encouraging words to comfort her. Hearing Tian's encouragement, Wu Yu's condition also improved a lot. The two withdrew from the battlefield and the game continued. Next, it was the turn of Ha Chengguang from Class 2 to fight against Wang Kai from his class. Wang Kai's Pokémon was an electric shock monster, which was considered to be relatively strong in Class 1. But it was a pity that he met the top combat power of Class 2. After several rounds of fighting, the electric shock monster fell into disadvantage and was quickly defeated by Nuanunpig. So far, 8 games have been played. In addition to Zhang Cheng, only one player from Class 1 has advanced, while 6 players from Class 2 have advanced. The last 2 games will start soon. In these 2 games, the trainers of Class 1 have a little more advantage. The last 2 trainers in Class 2 were of relatively low combat power. After a battle, the trainers in Class 1 defeated their opponents and won a victory for the class. If they lost these 2 games again, it would be too miserable. Of the 10 trainers who advanced to the second round, 4 were from Class 1 and 6 were from Class 2. The second round will be drawn in the afternoon, and the 5 winning trainers will enter the final tomorrow. After the game, the instructors of the 2 classes also asked the students to disperse and gather at the training ground after lunch. Tian also came to the rest area of Zhang Cheng's class and prepared to call Zhang Cheng to eat together. The other students in Class 1 didn't know Tian very well before, but now they know that this guy who plays with his class monitor is so strong. When Zhang Cheng saw Tian coming, he also understood what he meant and walked directly to the cafeteria. I feel that your class is a little unlucky. Wu Yu, one of the main players, drew lots and met me. Otherwise, there would be a chance to fight for the 3 places, Tian said, thinking about the morning game. There's nothing we can do about this kind of draw. Luck is also a part of strength, Zhang Cheng said calmly. That's true, Tian continued. We may meet opponents from our class in the afternoon match. Now the number of people in the 2 classes is unbalanced. In the next round, if the draw is unlucky, our class may be wiped out except for me, Zhang Cheng analyzed based on the current situation. We will know these results after the draw. There is no point in guessing now. As long as the 2 of us are not assigned to the same group, we will try to get a place. Tian patted Zhang Cheng on the shoulder and said. Zhang Cheng nodded in response, and then the 2 of them also concentrated on eating. After the meal, the 2 drove to the training ground again. After waiting for a while, the referees and instructors also came to the training ground. After the 2 sides communicated and confirmed that there was no problem, the second round of competition began. The 10 players who advanced came forward to draw lots. When drawing lots, Zhang Cheng also saw Yi Lang from Class 2. He didn't expect that this guy had some strength to advance to the second round. Zhang Cheng thought that it would be great if he could draw the same lot as him in this round, so as to wipe out his sense of superiority. While thinking about this, Zhang Cheng also put his hand into the lottery box and randomly drew a lot. His luck was still so good that he drew the number 1. After the lottery, all the participating trainers returned to the rest area and waited for the announcement of the lottery results. The final result did not disappoint Zhang Cheng. His opponent was Yi Lang from Class 2. This can really be said to be a narrow road for enemies. I didn't expect that such a small chance would really let me meet. At this time, Yi Lang was also happy to see that his opponent was Zhang Cheng. He was thinking about how to avenge his previous shame and defeat Zhang Cheng. He even thought of the mocking words after the victory in advance. Yi Tian and Hao Changgong drew the number 2 and number 4. Judging from the current lottery results, Yi Tian and Hao Changgong are likely to enter tomorrow's finals. Soon the first game started. Zhang Cheng and Yi Lang came to the two sides of the battlefield respectively, waiting for the referee's order. The second round of the game adopted a single game schedule, which was different from the first game where 2 games were played at the same time. Each side can only use one Pokémon to fight. When one side's Pokémon loses its ability to fight, the battle ends. The chief referee read out the rules of the game. After the trainers on both sides nodded to confirm that there was no problem, the chief referee announced the start of the game. Now, please release your Pokémons and the game officially begins. I said before that we would meet again. This time you don't have as good luck as last time. I want to let you know the gap between you and the trainers of the 3 Pokémons, Yi Lang said with a sense of superiority. No way, there won't be anyone who thinks that the 3 Pokémons trained by wise trainers will be very powerful, Zhang Cheng said with a surprised look on his face. Don't be sarcastic to me, be careful not to lose face if you lose later, Yi Lang said angrily. You should think about what to do if you lose later. Do you want to be defeated again? Zhang Cheng retorted mercilessly. Facing Zhang Cheng's ridicule, Yi Lang was also very angry. Stop talking nonsense, I will convince you in a while. 2 trainers, now is the competition time. If you don't release the Pokémon to fight, it will be regarded as a waiver. The referee on the sides saw the 2 people's actions and reminded them, and he secretly thought that these trainers nowadays are really young and competitive. After hearing the referee's reminder, the 2 stopped their verbal tit for tat and each released the Pokémon to prepare for the battle. Water Otter, show me a good performance. Mosquito Repellent Tadpole, prepare for battle. Zhang Cheng opened the system to check the current data of Water Otter. Name, Water Otter, level 10, gender, male qualification, C attribute, water carrying props, leftovers basic skills, impact, tail shaking, water gun, playing in water learning skills, awakening power inherited skills, saltwater characteristics, hard shell armor, will not be hit in the vitals, even if the skills that are sure to hit the vitals cannot take effect. Notes, Water Otter, Otter Pokémon. After removing the scallop shell that looks like a shell from the belly, it can be used for attack and defense. It has to be said that this guy's family is indeed rich. First, he got the 3 starter Pokémons, and then he bought props and skill learning machines. Trainers from ordinary families don't have this condition. It can be said that Yi Lang's current strength is mostly due to the Pokémon coins. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 42 Take it. However, the props are useless to Zhang Cheng. With his system, he already knows the props that the other elf carries in advance. Let's give him a surprise first. While thinking about this, Zhang Cheng also commanded the Mosquito Repellent Tadpole to use the water gun to make a tentative attack. The opponent's Water Otter used salt water to fight back. The 2 water columns collided in the air. The power of the salt water skill was even better. After smashing the water gun, it rushed towards the Mosquito Repellent Tadpole. The Mosquito Repellent Tadpole was attacked by salt water. Because the power of the salt water was weakened by the use of the water gun in advance, the Mosquito Repellent Tadpole did not suffer too much damage. Seeing that his attack had an advantage, Yi Lang did not give Zhang Cheng any chance to breathe and continued to launch salt water attacks. Zhang Cheng just used the water gun just to test the power of the Water Otter's skills. Now that he understands the power of the water otter's skills, Zhang Cheng also made countermeasures. The mosquito repellent tadpole directly took this saltwater attack and approached the water otter. At this time, Yilang also felt that something was wrong and commanded the water otter to retreat. But it was too late. After the mosquito tadpole approached the water otter, it launched a thief attack directly. Take it. The attack hit the water otter accurately, causing damage to the water otter and taking away the water otter's props. The mosquito tadpole got the leftovers, and the prop effect was activated to restore some of the damage that the mosquito tadpole had suffered from the salt water before. Seeing this scene, Yilang was also a little confused, wondering what kind of operation was this, and his water otter's props were gone. Zhang Cheng would not give Yilang a chance to react. While Yilang was stunned, the mosquito tadpole directly used hypnosis and accurately hit the water otter. The water otter was directly hypnotized. After the hypnosis was successful, the mosquito tadpole accumulated the strongest foam beam and hit the water otter directly. The water otter was directly hit hard because it had no defense, and it also woke up from sleep. Yilang looked at the situation in front of him and was already a little flustered. It was difficult for his attacks to cause high damage to the mosquito coil tadpole. Now that the opponent had taken away his props, he could no longer feel any chance of winning. However, Yilang was still unwilling to accept this fact. He did not believe that his 3 starter Pokémon could not beat Zhang Cheng's mosquito coil tadpole. Yilang, who had almost lost his mind, commanded the water otter to attack desperately, first using salt water, and then using the awakening power to attack the mosquito coil tadpole frantically. The mosquito coil tadpole used skills to reduce the damage of the opponent's skills, and then recovered by eating leftovers. The water otter's attack did not play a big role. After a period of attack, the water otter's physical strength was also seriously overdrawn, and now it was a fish meat that could be slaughtered at will. When the trainer lost his mind and had no correct judgment, the result of this game was already announced. The mosquito coil tadpole directly used the bubble beam and hit the water otter again, who had no time to dodge. The water otter was seriously injured and close to death. I think there is no need to fight anymore. Just admit defeat and don't let your elf suffer any more meaningless damage, Zhang Cheng kindly reminded. But to Yilang, these words were mocking him. How could he be willing to surrender? He continued to frantically command the water otter to attack. Seeing that his reminder was ineffective, Zhang Cheng also shook his head and let the mosquito tadpole continue to attack, directly hitting the water otter into a state of near death. Since he was unwilling to accept this reality, he would wake him up in the most direct and effective way. The battle is over, the water otter has lost its ability to fight, and the winner of this competition is Zhang Cheng. After hearing the referee announce the result of the game, Zhang Cheng also left the battlefield directly. Yilang looked at the result in front of him with a dull face, and only walked off the battlefield after the referee reminded him again. After this battle, Yilang also lost his previous sense of superiority. There are always people outside the sky, and overconfidence will only make him more unsuccessful. After Zhang Cheng returned to the rest area of Class 1, his classmates also congratulated Zhang Cheng on advancing to the finals. Zhang Cheng also simply responded to his classmates, then sat down to rest, waiting for the next battle. Zhang Cheng just sat down when his cell phone rang. He opened it and saw that it was a message from Bai Yuling. Brother, you did well today. Do your best tomorrow and bring honor to our class. Okay, I promise to complete the task. After chatting with Bai Yuling for a while, the second game began. Zhang Cheng also put away his cell phone and watched Yilan's battle. Yilan was fighting against a trainer in his class. Since 2 more trainers from their class advanced in the first round, there would inevitably be a civil war between Class 2 in the second round. Yilan's opponent was a trainer who used wrist power. Seeing that the opponent was a fighting-type Pokémon, Zhang Cheng shook his head. Fighting-type Pokémon are most afraid of flying and psychic skills, and Yilan's Butterfree has wind and telekinesis skills, which are just right for flying and psychic. This is a battle without any suspense, and Zhang Cheng found that the characteristic of this wrist power is no defense. This feature is a little different from the game setting in actual battles. When the speed difference between the 2 elves with a non-defense feature is not big, there is no way to dodge. But if the level difference between the 2 elves is too large and the speed difference is very large, it is possible to dodge the attack of the wrist force. As a fighting-type wrist force, this feature is actually very good, but it is very sad to meet an elf that restrains itself. Butterfree's telekinetic attack and wind attack hit the wrist force in succession, and although the wrist force's attack can hit Butterfree, it can't cause a good effect. After being attacked by telekinesis again, the wrist force directly lost its combat ability, and Yi-Yan won. After winning, Yi-Yan also walked directly off the battlefield. This battle was not stressful for him. The game continued. The third battle was between two level 10 elves. After a battle, the trainer of Class 2 won. Next was the fourth round of Hao Chenggong's battle. As expected, he also won and advanced to tomorrow's finals. At present, the 4 games have ended, and only Zhang Cheng from Class 1 has advanced to the finals. Looking at the last 2 trainers, Zhang Cheng wondered if he could win a spot, otherwise it would be too embarrassing for his class. The last match soon began. Zhang Cheng observed that the strength of both sides was not much different. At this time, it was up to the trainers to compete. The trainer's command ability has a great impact on a game. A good command can turn the situation around and turn defeat into victory. Chapter 43, Showdown between class leaders. After a battle, the trainer of Class 2 had more combat experience and seized the opportunity to defeat the opponent and win. Looking at the final result, Zhang Cheng was a little helpless. He was the only one left in his class. After all the battles were over, the instructor also asked the students to disband and gather again tomorrow morning. Your class is really miserable this time. The opponents you drew were too bad, Yi-Yan said to Zhang Cheng on the way to the cafeteria. No way, Zhang Cheng spread his hands and continued, I just hope that the 2 of us will not be assigned to the same group tomorrow. Damn, don't be such a pessimist. The probability is not very high, Yi-Yan said hurriedly. It shouldn't be, Zhang Cheng followed Yi-Yan's words. After dinner, the 2 went straight back to the dormitory. According to their original habit, they would do some training on the Pokémon together after dinner. But there is still an important game tomorrow, so it is best to keep the Pokémon in sufficient physical strength. After returning to the dormitory, Zhang Cheng took out the last few energy cubes and gave them to Mosquito and Pidgeot. After the game tomorrow, Zhang Cheng will need to buy some more energy cubes. While the Pokémons were eating, Zhang Cheng simply washed up, and then gave Mosquito and Pidgeot a full body massage. After ensuring the condition of the 2 Pokémons, they began to rest together to keep up their energy for tomorrow's game. The next morning, Zhang Cheng woke up early, washed up, had breakfast, and came to the training ground, quietly waiting for the start of the game. When the game started, the referee asked the 5 trainers who advanced to the next round to draw lots. There were a total of 5 lots, with number 1 winning against number 5, number 2 winning against number 4, and number 3 winning directly. It has to be said that this competition mechanism is indeed a bit bloody, and the European Emperor can directly get a spot for free. The 5 participating trainers came on stage to draw lots one after another, and then the referee quickly announced the battle information. Zhang Cheng drew number 2, and his opponent was number 4 Hao Chenggong. This was the most interesting game in the finals. Because Yi-Yan was so lucky this time, he drew number 3 and got a spot directly, even saving the battle. In fact, it is quite reasonable to give this number 3 lottery to Yi-Yan. With Yi-Yan's fighting power, he can probably get a place even if he participates in the battle. The other 2 trainers from Class 2 drew number 1 and number 5. These 2 are also relatively strong in their own class and have advanced all the way to the finals. The first 2 players from Class 2 played, and the Pokémons were Squirtle and Charmander. The Pokémons that entered the finals either had an advantage in level or had rare Pokémons. The 2 players who are fighting now have good initial Pokémons, which have a great advantage in the same level. When the level is the same, the restraint of attributes becomes particularly important. If this game goes normally, the Squirtle trainer should win. Just as Yi-Yan thought, Charmander's skills are difficult to cause effective damage to Squirtle. Squirtle seized the opportunity to use water skills and quickly defeated Charmander and got a place. The restraint of attributes will indeed make people very powerless. When the number of Pokémons used in future games increases, it will be relatively much better. When facing attribute restraint, you can rotate the elves to fight. Next is the finale that everyone is looking forward to, the duel between Zhang Cheng and Hao Chenggong. It is worth mentioning that Hao Chenggong is also the monitor of Elite Class 2, while Zhang Cheng is the monitor of Elite Class 1. This battle is a duel between monitors, or a duel between 2 classes. Everyone is looking forward to this game. Zhang Cheng, I didn't expect that there would be such a duel between us. I am still looking forward to it, Hao Chengguang came to the battle site and said to Zhang Cheng on the opposite side. Since we are opponents, let's have a good fight. I must win this place, Zhang Cheng said bluntly. That's what I want to say, Hao Chengguang said with a smile. I won't repeat the rules of the game. If there are other problems between the two sides, the game will start directly, the referee stood aside and said. Both parties nodded to indicate that there was no problem. The referee blew the whistle and the game began. It's decided to be you, Nuanuanpig. Mosquito Tadpole, get ready for battle. Both sides released their Pokémons at the same time. Zhang Cheng quickly checked the current data of Nuanuanpig, name, Nuanuanpig, level 11, gender, male qualification, C+ attribute, fire carrying props, none basic skills, impact, tail shaking, sparks, smell detection learning skills, charged flame attack inherited skills, Taishan Yatting features, thick fat, because it is protected by thick fat, the power of fire and ice attribute moves will be halved. Notes, Nuanuanpig, a fire pig Pokémon, can blow out flames from its nose, but can only blow out black smoke when it feels bad. Compared with the previous class competition, Nuanuanpig's level has been raised to level 11, and it has also learned charged flame attack. In this battle, Mosquito Repellent Tadpole still has a slight advantage, with a control effect and attributes, and mainly needs to guard against Nuanuanpig's Taishan Yatting. At the beginning of the battle, Hao Chengguang was also ruthless and didn't say much, so he directly asked Nuanuanpig to use Taishan Yatting. He had already used his trump card before, so there was no need to hide it now. He used his most powerful trick right away. Warmpig's fire skills would not have much effect against the water-based tadpoles, and Hao Chengguang had decided on this idea, so he wanted to quickly end the battle with Taishan Yatting. Unfortunately, his move was too obvious, and Zhang Cheng had already been prepared, and he directly commanded the tadpoles to dodge. When the tadpoles were on guard, it was difficult for Warmpig's Taishan Yatting to hit directly. After seeing that using Taishan Yatting had no effect, Hao Chengguang also changed his strategy and let Warmpig use the energy-storing flame attack to attack. Zhang Cheng saw through Hao Chengguang's idea at a glance. The energy-storing flame attack was fake, and his purpose was to use the energy-storing flame attack to increase the speed, and then use Taishan Yatting. How could Zhang Cheng let him succeed? So he directly let the tadpoles use the bubble beam to counterattack. If you want to use the energy-storing flame attack to increase the speed, be prepared to withstand the high damage of water-based skills. The foam beam was emitted directly, and a large amount of foam floated towards Nuanuanpig. The seemingly light foam contained enormous power. Chapter 44 Getting a Spot. Warmpig launched a stored energy flame attack, wrapped in flames, and rushed towards the mosquito coil tadpole quickly. The mosquito coil tadpole's bubble beam was emitted and collided with a sprinting Warmpig, and a large amount of white smoke came out of the collision. The smoke dissipated, and it was seen that Warmpig had been repelled by the bubble beam and suffered considerable damage. The bubble beam has a very good restraining effect on fire elves. Warmpig ate the bubble beam head-on, and the stored energy flame attack was directly blocked. Although Warmpig paid a certain price, it also achieved its goal and its speed was improved. However, in order to ensure that the mosquito coil tadpole is hit, it is necessary to increase the speed again, because the speed difference between Warmpig and the mosquito coil tadpole is still a bit large. Warmpig was ready to use the stored energy flame attack again. Zhang Cheng saw the opportunity and commanded the mosquito coil tadpole to use hypnosis. But unfortunately, the hypnosis did not hit this time. Warmpig launched a stored energy flame attack again. The mosquito coil tadpole had no time to condense the bubble beam, so it had to quickly use the water gun to attack. The water gun skill collided with the Warmpig. Since the power of the water gun was not as high as the bubble beam, the Warmpig also carried the water gun attack and came to the front of the mosquito repellent tadpole. A stored flame attacked the mosquito repellent tadpole, but because it was a fire skill, the mosquito repellent tadpole did not suffer too much damage. On the contrary, it was the Warmpig that was more injured. It took 2 water skills and now its health is less than half. The battle has now entered a white-hot stage. The speed of the Warmpig has been improved, and it is ready to use the Taishan pressure to cause heavy damage to the mosquito repellent tadpole. Zhang Cheng knew that it was difficult to avoid the Taishan pressure of the Warmpig, so he directly commanded the mosquito repellent tadpole to use the bubble beam to confront the Warmpig head-on. The Warmpig's Taishan pressure was launched, and the whole body rushed towards the mosquito repellent tadpole. The mosquito-repellent tadpole stood in place and spit out a large amount of bubble beams from its mouth. The fat body of the warm pig collided with the mosquito-repellent tadpole, and at the same time, it was constantly hit by the bubble beam. Both sides suffered heavy damage at the same time. The health of the mosquito-repellent tadpole was more than half, but the situation of the warm pig was worse. After being hit by a bubble beam, it was close to death. Zhang Cheng chose to trust the mosquito-repellent tadpole at this time and let the mosquito-repellent tadpole use hypnosis. Because the speed of the warm pig is no slower than that of the mosquito-repellent tadpole, directly using water skills may not guarantee victory. Zhang Cheng believes in the proficiency of the mosquito-repellent tadpole in hypnosis. A long string of hypnotic sound waves flew accurately to the warm pig who had just used the Taishan Yachting. The physical strength and health of the warm pig had been greatly consumed. There was no firm willpower to resist hypnosis, and the mosquito-repellent tadpole was directly hypnotized successfully. Seeing Zhang Cheng's operation, Hao Changong was also somewhat unexpected. In this situation, he did not choose to use skills to fight, but instead gambled on the hit rate of hypnosis. However, Zhang Cheng was not just gambling. He believed in the mosquito-repellent tadpole and the results of their training for so long. Wake up, Nuan Pig, cheer up. Seeing the current situation, Hao Changong also tried to use physical methods to break the hypnosis and wanted to wake up Nuan Pig. Unfortunately, Nuan Pig consumed too much physical strength and it was not so easy to wake up after entering the sleeping state. Zhang Cheng also seized this opportunity to let mosquito tadpole use the Eye of the Heart once to ensure the hit rate of the next attack. Then he used the last bubble beam. With a blessing of the Eye of the Heart, the bubble beam directly hit Nuan Pig, and the defenseless Nuan Pig was directly defeated. Nuan Pig lost the ability to fight, and the last place was won by Zhang Cheng. The referee announced the final result. Zhang Cheng, you are a very strong opponent. I believe I will defeat you one day. Hao Changong clenched his fists and said. You are also a very good trainer, but it is not so easy to defeat me. I am waiting for your challenge again. After Zhang Cheng finished speaking confidently, he walked down the battlefield with his hands in his pockets. After returning to the rest area, the classmates in the class were also very happy and praised Zhang Cheng non-stop. In the previous rounds of competition, the performance of my class was too poor, and the atmosphere in the class was very low. Now they won the duel between the class leaders, which can be regarded as regaining the previous ground. After the battle, the referees also said goodbye to everyone and left. The two instructors asked the three students who advanced to the next round to stay, and the others were directly dismissed. Congratulations to the three of you for standing out from everyone. Tomorrow I will lead you to the principal's wild wilderness area to get elves. Liu Feng, the instructor of class 2, stepped forward and said. Teacher, can we catch rare elves in the wild wilderness area? Yi Tian asked excitedly. Haha, that's definitely no problem. Most types of elves in China can be encountered in the wild wilderness area, Liu Feng said with a smile. Liu Feng still likes Yi Tian very much. He is strong and hard-working in training. He has a strong desire for power. He seems to see himself when he was young in Yi Tian. Hearing Liu Feng's words, Yi Tian's eyes were full of expectations, hoping to capture rare elves tomorrow. Next, Liu Feng introduced the precautions and time for going to the wild wilderness area tomorrow. You will gather at the bottom of the teaching building at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. I will take you to the wild wilderness area. You must follow me closely throughout the journey. It is safe. While Liu Feng was talking, Zhang Cheng was looking at Bai Yuling beside him. Bai Yuling winked at Zhang Cheng mischievously. The two communicated with each other through their eyes and did not hear what Liu Feng was saying at all. So many precautions. This classmate is called Zhang Cheng, right? Do you know what the teacher said just now? Liu Feng asked Zhang Cheng, who was distracted. Teacher, I understand everything. No problem. Hearing Liu Feng suddenly ask him, Zhang Cheng was stunned at first, and then quickly reacted and said. Bai Yuling, who was beside him, saw Zhang Cheng's embarrassment and covered her mouth and laughed secretly. After Liu Feng explained the matter, he left the training ground. Bai Yuling wanted to tease Zhang Cheng, but after seeing that there were other students around, she gave up the idea and turned to leave the training ground. Zhang Cheng, what kind of elves do you think we will get tomorrow? After the instructor left, Yi Tian also started to dance with joy. Yi Tian is really a complete elf fanatic. I guess you should get a unicorn tomorrow. After all, You are the future king of insects. You have to arrange for caterpillars and unicorns, Zhang Cheng said jokingly. Go to hell. You always pour cold water on me. Go eat. We will continue to practice with each other in the evening, no problem. Let's go eat first, and we can talk about other things later. Yes, eating is the most important thing in the world. Chapter 45 Wild Area. After the two finished their meal, they continued to train. Improving strength is the most important thing. Developing good habits is the basis for becoming stronger. After 2 days of fighting and training, the level of Mosquito Coil Tadpole has also been upgraded to level 12, and Bobo has also been upgraded to level 9 under training. At the same time, Bobo has learned the genetic skill Air Blade in recent training, and now has more means of attack. Later, Zhang Cheng plans to focus on training Bobo and improve Bobo's combat effectiveness. In recent games, because the opponents are relatively strong, Zhang Cheng cannot send Bobo to fight. However, if Bobo does not fight in actual combat, it will be difficult to improve his strength quickly, which will form a dead loop. To improve strength, actual combat is required, but the level of the elves encountered in actual combat is relatively high. So Zhang Cheng's plan is to take Bobo to the wild to fight and improve his strength. After training with Yi Dawn, Zhang Cheng also came to the school's elf store and spent 5,000 elf coins to buy some energy cubes that the elves love to eat. Now there are only the last 5,000 elf coins left in his hand. He has to find a way to earn some elf coins, otherwise he will be hungry. After buying the energy cube, Zhang Cheng returned to the dormitory, took out the newly bought energy cube, and handed it to the two elves. After getting the energy cube, the two elves enjoyed it beautifully. After destroying the energy cube, Zhang Cheng began to massage the two elves to relieve their fatigue from recent training. After eating and drinking, the elves also enjoyed this feeling very much. After the massage, Zhang Cheng went to the bathroom to wash up, and then turned off the lights to go to bed. In his dream, Zhang Cheng found himself in the wild wilderness area and met some elves. The next morning, Zhang Cheng woke up and recalled his dream yesterday, but he couldn't remember what elves he met. Zhang Cheng simply stopped thinking about it. After getting up and washing up, he came to the gathering point downstairs of the teaching building in advance. After waiting for a while, Liu Feng, the instructor of Class 2, Yan and another classmate of Class 2 also arrived. After they all arrived, Liu Feng released his elf. The elf released by Liu Feng was a fire-breathing dragon. This fire-breathing dragon had a relatively docile personality. After coming out, it also shook its tail at everyone. Zhang Cheng was also very curious about the strength of Liu Feng's Charizard, so he opened the system to check. Name, Charizard, level 59, gender, male, qualification, B attributes, fire, flying, carrying props, charcoal, basic skills, grab, call, spark, smokescreen, dragon's fury, ghost face, flame fang, flame splash, split, jet flame, flame whirlpool. Learning skills, overheat, feather roost, swallow, return. Inherited skills, dragon wave, metal claw, flash charge. Characteristics, fierce fire. When the health value is less than 1/3, the power of fire attribute skills is increased to 1.5 times the original. Note, Charizard, a fire Pokémon, is the evolution of Charmeleon, and has both fire and flying attributes. The more hard battles it has experienced, the higher the temperature of Charizard's flames. This Charizard's level is much higher than Bai Yuling's Kixie Blue Bird, and it should be the strongest teacher in the school at present. However, in this comparison, Zhang Cheng felt the horror of Bai Yuling's strength even more. Liu Feng had graduated and taught for many years, and his Pokémon's strength had only reached level 59, but Bai Yuling was still in college, and her strength was close to Liu Feng's. Everyone, follow me and sit on Charizard's back. Charizard will take us to the wild wilderness area, Liu Feng said to everyone. Awoo. Hearing his trainer's words, Charizard also said that it was no problem, and flapped his wings while speaking. Zhang Cheng and the others were also very excited when they heard Liu Feng say that they would ride Charizard to the wild wilderness area. They had never experienced the feeling of riding a flying Pokémon, and they only rode Flame Horse when they went to the Challenge Tower with Yi Dawn last time. After everyone was ready, Liu Feng also ordered Charizard to descend and let the three climb on its back, and Liu Feng followed closely. After everyone was ready, Charizard let out a roar and quickly flew into the sky. Don't walk around during the flight, pay attention to safety, and there may be a risk of falling if you move around, Liu Feng reminded the three people. Zhang Cheng and Yi Yan also nodded to show their understanding. This fall was no joke. Now they were at least several thousand meters above the ground. During the flight, Zhang Cheng looked at the scenery in the sky and enjoyed the feeling very much. After Popo evolves into Pidgeot, he can also fly freely in the sky, Zhang Cheng thought in his heart. Half an hour later, Charizard's speed began to slow down, and it was about to reach the wild wilderness area of Jiangcheng City. Arriving at the gate of the wild wilderness area, Charizard fell to the ground, and the four people jumped off its back and came to the wild wilderness area. Led by Liu Feng, the three came to the entrance registration office. After Liu Feng communicated with the staff for a while, he came over with 9 Pokeballs. This is a special Pokeball made for the wild area. You are not allowed to bring your own Pokeballs when you enter. You can only use the Pokeballs from the wild area to capture Pokémons. Liu Feng explained the rules here to everyone. Each person will be given 3 Pokeballs, but you cannot capture Pokémons again after you get 1 Pokeball. If all 3 Pokeballs are used up, there is no way to capture Pokémons. At this time, if you want to get Pokémons, you can only get Poké-Eggs in the wild area. Of course, you cannot capture Pokémons again after you get Pokémons. The 3 nodded to show that they understood. Seeing that the 3 had no questions, Liu Feng gave the Pokeballs to the 3. Then the 3 took the Pokeballs and entered the wild area under the guidance of the staff. The area of the wild area is very large. This is the map here. There will be many bicycles in the wild area, which can be used for free. The staff gave the map to the 3 people while speaking. Now you can freely capture Pokémons in it, but you can only move outside the wild area. The Pokémons inside are of a higher level, and it may be dangerous to enter at will. After understanding the rules, the 3 people also walked towards the inside of the wild area. Another student in the same class as Yuan is named Fang Han, a trainer who uses Squirtle. After Fang Han entered the wilderness area, he acted alone to catch the Pokemon he wanted. After all, he was not familiar with the 2. So there was no need to talk much with him. After thinking about it, Zhang Cheng and Yi Yan also planned to act separately. The purpose of doing so was to prevent encountering a Pokemon that both of them wanted, but they did not know how to distribute it. The 2 walked in different directions, and it was unknown what kind of Pokemon they would get this time. Chapter 46, Searching for the Elves. After separating from Yi Yan, Zhang Cheng also started looking for suitable Pokemon alone. Most of the Pokemon in the wild wilderness area are relatively common Pokemon, such as Rattata and Caterpillar, which are common in the woods and mountains. Most of the Pokemon in the wild wilderness area are relatively gentle and will not actively attack others. When Zhang Cheng passed by the mountainous area, he found some Geodudes with good qualifications, but he did not have the idea of capturing them. Geodudes are too afraid of water-type skills, which is not a suitable choice for him. What he wants most now is an electric-type Pokemon. According to Zhang Cheng's consideration, there are 2 most suitable ones, which are also Pokemon that are relatively easy to obtain in China. The first Pokemon is Magnetron. After Magnetron evolves into Magnetron, the special attack is as high as 130. The power of Magnetron's thunder skill is absolutely explosive. The second one is Melix. After Melix evolves into Electra Dragon, it has a special attack racial value of 115. Zhang Cheng wanted a Melee Sheep more, because Melee Sheep has a higher upper limit, and Dragonite can Mega Evolve. According to Zhang Cheng's memory, the special attack racial value of Mega Dragonite is as high as 165. In Zhang Cheng's impression, the special attack racial value of 165 should only be achieved by mythical beasts. Under the blessing of rainy weather, Mega Dragonite used the thunder skill that must hit, and the power was absolutely terrifying. And Magnemite is usually easier to meet near the power plant. Zhang Cheng observed the map and found that there was no power plant built in the wild wilderness area, so the probability of meeting Magnemite was very low. So Zhang Cheng put the main target on Melee Sheep, and Melee Sheep's habitat should be on the grassland. Zhang Cheng found the grassland area in the wild wilderness area through the map and rode a bicycle towards the grassland. After arriving at the grassland, Zhang Cheng began to search in a carpet-style manner. On the way, Zhang Cheng found a lot of grass-type elves. There are the most common walking grass and shuttlecock grass, and some trumpet buds, but Zhang Cheng has no interest in these elves. If Zhang Cheng encounters a Bulbasaur, he may choose to capture it. Zhang Cheng does not have much idea about other ordinary grass-type Pokemon. Zhang Cheng continued to walk deeper into the grassland, but he still did not see any trace of the Mirik. Zhang Cheng was a little tired after riding his bike for so long, so he came to the edge of the grassland and sat down to rest. He took out the food he had prepared in advance and ate it. After filling his stomach, Zhang Cheng planned to go to other places to see if he could find the Mirik. Zhang Cheng's plan was to look for the Mirik first, and if he still couldn't find it by about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, he would capture other Pokémon. Because the wild wilderness area will be closed at 6 o'clock, if he doesn't capture the Pokémon by 4 o'clock, he may lose this opportunity. Just when Zhang Cheng was about to ride his bike to change places, he suddenly saw 2 Mirik appearing at the border of the grassland and the mountains. The 2 Mirik were leaning against each other, basking in the sun on the grass. Zhang Cheng opened the system and checked the information of the 2 Pokémons. Name, Melly Sheep, level 12, gender, male, qualification, C attribute. Electricity carrying props, none. Basic skills, impact, cry, electromagnetic wave, electric shock, cotton robe. Learning skills, none. Inherited skills, piercing sound, splashing sand. Characteristics, static electricity. Using contact type moves to attack this Pokémon will trigger a 30% chance of paralysis. Notes, Melly Sheep is a sheep Pokémon. The soft wool on its body can store static electricity. It has a gentle personality and does not like fighting. Looking at the information of this Melly Sheep, Zhang Cheng did not want to capture it. The best level to capture Pokémons is below level 10. Most Pokémons above level 10 have lived alone in the wild for a long time. Most of these Pokémons will not be willing to be captured and obey the orders of the trainer. Pokémons in the larval stage are not long after birth and are still in the plastic period. At this time, after being captured and cultivating feelings with a trainer, they will easily obey the trainer's orders. Secondly, the aptitude of this Melly Sheep is not very high, and its inherited skills are relatively few, so there is no idea of taming it. At the same time, Zhang Cheng also put the system on another Melly Sheep and scanned it. Name, Melly Sheep, level 7, gender, female. Aptitude, B attribute, electricity carrying props, none. Basic skills, collision, cry, electromagnetic wave, electric shock. Learning skills, none. Inherited skills, ramming, iron tail. Characteristics, positive electricity. Against a battlefield with positive or negatively charged elves, its own special attack is increased to 1.5 times the original. Note, Melly Sheep, a sheep Pokémon, has soft wool on its body that can store static electricity, and has a gentle personality and does not like fighting. This Melly Sheep is a Melly Sheep with hidden characteristics. The effect of the positive electricity characteristic is very powerful, but it is difficult to trigger. It must be present with elves with the same characteristics. In terms of aptitude, this Melly Sheep is also very good, and the inherited skills are also relatively powerful. After searching for so long, he finally found the Melly Sheep. Zhang Cheng certainly would not miss such a good opportunity. After thinking about it, Zhang Cheng did not intend to attack the Melly Sheep directly and then forcibly subdue it. The elves in the wild wilderness area are much gentler than the elves in the wild, and the Melly Sheep is a very docile elf. Zhang Cheng thought he could communicate with them first to see if the Melly Sheep is willing to go to the outside world with him. Another reason for doing this is that Zhang Cheng found that if these 2 Melly Sheep attack together, Zhang Cheng might not be able to resist. The electric Melly Sheep just restrained his mosquito coils and pops. The levels of the elves are basically the same, and the restraint in attributes will make the battle very difficult. After thinking of this method, Zhang Cheng also released the mosquito coils and pops. After releasing the 2 elves, Zhang Cheng began to educate them, which roughly meant telling them the current situation. Then he asked Mosquito and Pidgeot to communicate with the 2 Melly Sheep and asked the female Melly Sheep if she was willing to go with Zhang Cheng. Mosquito and Pidgeot were a little confused after listening to it, thinking that their trainer didn't let them fight this time, but let them go to be lobbyists. Although they were a little confused, it was just the trainer's order, so they still did it. The 2 Pokémon ran to the side of the Melly Sheep. The docile Melly Sheep really didn't attack them, and soon the 4 Pokémon began to chat. Mosquito mosquito bo babo babo me 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 me. Zhang Cheng didn't know what they were talking about after listening for a long time. He only saw that several Pokémon looked up at him while talking. After a little hesitation, the 2 Melly Sheep came to Zhang Cheng's side. Chapter 47, Shining Melly Sheep. The 2 Merle Sheep pointed to the mountain not far away and signaled Zhang Cheng to go there. Zhang Cheng was very confused when he saw the merle sheep's actions, and then looked at the mosquito coil and Pidgeot beside him. The mosquito coil and Pidgeot kept chattering beside Zhang Cheng, but Zhang Cheng couldn't understand what they were saying. The two elves were very anxious when they saw that the trainer didn't understand what they meant. They dragged the trainer's legs to go in the direction pointed by the merle sheep. Zhang Cheng had no choice but to go there to see what was going on. One person and 4 elves soon came to the mountain next to the grass, and saw a cave in front of them. Under the leadership of the merle sheep, Zhang Cheng and the elves entered the cave together. Zhang Cheng looked around and thought that this should be the residence of the merle sheep. He didn't know why they brought him here. Could it be that the elves here are more enthusiastic and want to bring him over as a guest? Zhang Cheng thought unrealistically. However, Zhang Cheng's doubts were soon solved. He saw 2 mealy sheep coming out of the cave holding an elf egg. Seeing the elf egg, Mosquito and Bubble also surrounded it curiously. They had never seen an elf egg before and were very curious about it. Zhang Cheng looked at the actions of the 2 mealy sheep. Did they want him to take the elf egg away? The 2 mealy sheep came to Zhang Cheng with the elf egg and motioned Zhang Cheng to take the elf egg. Now Zhang Cheng also understood the specific situation. The mealy sheep in this elf egg should be born by the same mother as the 2 mealy sheep. In the wild wilderness area, elves with 2 high levels will be transferred to the deep area, which is also for the ecological balance of the wilderness area. Obviously, the parents of these 2 mealy sheep have been transferred to the inner area of the wild wilderness area because of their too strong strength. And these 2 mealy sheep are not strong enough now, and they should be more worried about taking good care of this unborn mealy sheep. Thinking of this, Zhang Cheng was relieved by the actions of the Mirik. It was indeed a better choice to hand over this unborn Mirik to the trainer who came here to take care of it. Thinking of this, Zhang Cheng also took the Pokémon egg. Even though this unborn Mirik had poor qualifications, Zhang Cheng did not think of refusing. Mirik, a docile animal, deserves to be treated well. Zhang Cheng held the Pokémon egg with both hands and said to the 2 Mirik, "Don't worry, I will definitely take good care of this little guy." Hearing Zhang Cheng's words, the Mirik was relieved. After continuing to talk to Mosquito, Repellent, Tadpole and Pidgeot, he let Zhang Cheng and the others leave. Looking at the 2 Mirik in the cave, Zhang Cheng also nodded to them, indicating that they could rest assured. Then Zhang Cheng walked out of the cave, found some grass and spread it in the basket of the bicycle, and then carefully put the Pokémon egg in it. After completing these operations, Zhang Cheng also began to check the situation of this mealy sheep out of curiosity. Name: flashing mealy sheep, level 0, gender, female, qualification, attribute, electricity, carrying props, none, basic skills, impact, calling, learning skills, none, inherited skills, electric field, iron tail, high speed movement, charging characteristics. Static electricity. Using contact type moves to attack this Pokémon will trigger a 30% chance of paralysis. Notes: mealy sheep, a sheep Pokémon, has soft wool that can store static electricity, and has a gentle personality and does not like fighting. Zhang Cheng looked at the information in his mind and felt a little incredible. He shook his head and checked the information of this Pokémon egg again. After reading it again, the same information appeared in his mind. Zhang Cheng believed that this was a flash mealy sheep, and it was also a level qualification. If this Pokémon egg is purchased at the Alliance Center, the price may be much higher than that of the ordinary 3 Pokémons, and the value will only be higher after it is hatched. With a Pokémon egg of the Miri, Zhang Cheng was more confident in forming a rainy day team. Zhang Cheng then collected some grass and wrapped the Pokémon egg tightly to prevent damage. After getting the Pokémon egg, Zhang Cheng could no longer capture other Pokémon in the wild wilderness area. After finishing all the work, Zhang Cheng rode his bicycle and began to head towards the exit of the wild wilderness area. At the same time, on the way back, Zhang Cheng was also thinking about the hatching of the Pokémon egg and the subsequent training direction of the Miri. If the Miri knew that the trainer had already prepared his training tasks before he was born, I wonder what he would think. Zhang Cheng looked at the time. It was 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and there were still 4 hours before the wild wilderness area closed. There was still plenty of time, so Zhang Cheng planned to slow down his riding speed to see if he could meet Yiyan on the road. I don't know what's going on with Yiyan. When Zhang Cheng was thinking about Yiyan, the sound of Pokémon fighting came from the woods next to him. Zhang Cheng walked closer and found that it was a Butterfree and Heracross fighting. What a coincidence, I actually met Yiyan. When Zhang Cheng saw this Butterfree, he knew it must be Yiyan. This Butterfree had fought against his Pokémon so many times, so Zhang Cheng could recognize it at a glance. Chapter 48 Return with a full load. Bardalio was using hypnotic powder to try to hypnotize Heracross. When a Pokémon is hypnotized, its resistance will be reduced, and the success rate of capturing a Pokémon will be greatly increased after hypnosis. Bardalio's hypnotic powder accurately hit Heracross, and Heracross fell into a sleeping state. Seeing this great opportunity, Yixian immediately threw out the Pokéball in his hand. The Pokéball took Heracross inside, and then began to shake violently. Every time the Pokéball shook, Yixian's heartbeat quickened. When the Pokéball shook for the third time, it was suddenly broken by a beam of red light, and Heracross broke free from the Pokéball. Seeing this scene, Yixian was a little crazy. This was already his third Pokéball, and he still hadn't succeeded in capturing Heracross. This Heracross was too tenacious. Looking at the situation in front of him, Zhang Cheng also came to Yixian and asked about the situation. Are you going to subdue this Heracross? Yes, but there may be no way now. This Heracross is too tenacious. I have used up all 3 of my Pokéballs, but I still haven't succeeded in subduing it, Yixian said regretfully. I still have some unused Pokéballs here, which are just right for you to use. Try again, maybe you will succeed. Zhang Cheng took out his 3 Pokéballs and said. Then what should you do? Have you subdued your Pokémon? Yixian asked in confusion. I got a Poké-Egg. Don't talk nonsense for now. Hurry up and subdue this Heracross, otherwise it will run away in a while, Zhang Cheng reminded Yixian. Yixian also knew that this was not the time to talk about these things, and then he stopped wasting time, holding Zhang Cheng's Pokéball and continued to command Butterfree to fight. The health of the Heracross in front of him had been consumed by Butterfree for the most part, and it was already very weak. The probability of subduing it at this time was very high. But Yixian had failed 3 times, and the last time he subdued it under hypnosis. Zhang Cheng was also a little surprised that he failed to capture Heracross even in this situation. It seems that this Heracross has a very stubborn personality and will not be easily captured by the trainer. While Yixian continued to compete with Heracross, Zhang Cheng also checked the information of this Pokémon. Name, Heracross, level 5, gender, male, qualification, B+ attributes, bug, fighting, carrying props, none, basic skills, impact, horn bump, stair, learning skills, none, inherited skills, super horn attack, endurance, earth throw characteristics, bug premonition. When its own health value is less than 1/3, the power of bug type skills is increased to 1.5 times the original. Notes, Heracross, a one-horned Pokémon, has a gentle personality and great strength. It is good at letting its horns drill into the enemy's lower abdomen and then pick up the enemy. Its favorite food is the sweet branches flowing from trees. This Heracross is indeed very excellent. It is indeed a great opportunity for Yixian to meet such a bug-type Pokémon. If this Heracross is captured, Yixian's team will be full of bug-type Pokémons, and he may really become the king of bug-type Pokémons in the future. Just as Zhang Cheng was thinking about this, Yixian also saw the opportunity to throw out the Pokéball again. Unfortunately, the final result still ended in failure, and the continuous failures made Yixian a little anxious. Seeing Yixian's current situation, Zhang Cheng also quickly reminded him, calm down, losing your mind will affect your judgment, which is a taboo for trainers. Hearing Zhang Cheng's words, Yixian also woke up and continued to command Butterfree to attack Heracross slightly, and then find the right opportunity to continue using hypnotic powder. Under Yixian's crazy offensive, Heracross was successfully captured, but it cost 5 Pokéballs to capture this Heracross. If Zhang Cheng hadn't happened to meet Yixian and had extra Pokéballs in his hands, Yixian would have missed Heracross today. After successfully capturing Heracross, Yixian also hurriedly rode his bicycle to the exit of the wild wilderness area. There is a place for elves to heal at the exit. Now this Heracross has been seriously injured by Butterfree. Yixian plans to send it there for treatment as soon as possible. Looking at Yixian's actions, Zhang Cheng also understood what he was going to do. He didn't ask any more questions and rode his bicycle behind Yixian. Half an hour later, the two came to the exit of the wild wilderness area. After registering the information, Yixian sent Heracross to the treatment room for treatment. At this time, another classmate Feng Han who came with them also came back. Under Yixian's inquiry, Zhang Cheng learned that the elf that Feng Han had captured was a duck-billed baby. The duck-billed baby is also a very potential fire elf with 2 stages of evolution. The final evolution of the duck-billed flame beast is also a very powerful existence in the fire system. In general, the elves obtained by the 3 people this time are very good. Relying on the rewards of this competition, they will have more advantages in the college entrance examination in the future. Under the hospitality of the staff of the Wild Wilderness area, the 4 of them had dinner here together. After dinner, Yixian's Heracross also recovered from his injuries. After confirming that everyone was fine, Liu Feng also released his Charizard and returned to Zhang Cheng No. 1 Middle School with the 3 people who returned with a full load. It was already night when they arrived at the school. Liu Feng sent the 3 people to the dormitory and left. Zhang Cheng, what kind of Pokemon is this Pokemon egg you got? Yixian asked, looking at the Pokemon egg in Zhang Cheng's arms. This is a Pokemon egg of a Mirik, which was entrusted to me by 2 Mirik in the Wild Wilderness area, Zhang Cheng explained. Is that so? Mirik is also a very potential electric Pokemon? Yixian thought for a while and said. I went to the Wild Wilderness area this time just to capture a suitable electric Pokemon. This Mirik is really good, Zhang Cheng said calmly. I have to thank you for what happened today. If it weren't for the Pokeballs you gave me, I wouldn't be able to get this Heracross, Yixian said, grabbing his hair. Why are we still talking about this, really? Zhang Cheng patted Yixian on the back, and then continued, it's getting late, go to bed early, you still have classes tomorrow Monday. After saying that, Zhang Cheng walked towards his dormitory, and Yixian nodded in agreement. After returning to the dormitory, Zhang Cheng found the incubator that mosquito repellent tadpole had used before, and carefully placed the elf egg of the mealy sheep in it. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 49 Hatching the Sheep. After debugging the incubator, Zhang Cheng also placed the elf eggs in a safe place for protection. After completing these tasks, Zhang Cheng released the mosquito coil tadpole and Bobo, and took out elf food for the 2 little ones to eat. He came to the elf shop in the school. Zhang Cheng planned to buy some food that electric elves like to eat, and then buy some milk in large milk cans. The digestion ability of newly born elves is relatively poor, and it is not suitable to eat too much elf food. Feeding milk is a better choice. After buying the food that the mealy sheep needs, Zhang Cheng's elf coins are almost used up, and there are only the last 2,000 elf coins left. This money is really hard to spend. It seems that I have to find a way to make some money, otherwise I and several elves will starve to death. Zhang Cheng was walking back to the dormitory with the food he bought. His cell phone rang. Zhang Cheng saw that it was a message from Bai Yuling. What Pokemon did you catch today? I caught Pokemon eggs, not wild Pokemon, is that so? What Pokemon eggs were they? An electric Pokemon? A Mirik, not bad. Mirik has a relatively high special attack among electric Pokemon, but its disadvantage is that it is too slow, I know that. I plan to let this Mirik learn high-speed movement, which will make up for some of its speed deficiencies. Brother is really smart, haha. I thought so too. I was just about to tell you. On the way back, Zhang Cheng and Bai Yuling chatted. After returning to the dormitory, Zhang Cheng washed up, then gave the Pokémons a massage, coaxing them to sleep like coaxing children. After the 2 Pokémons fell asleep, Zhang Cheng played a game together at Bai Yuling's request. As the turning point approached, Zhang Cheng was also a little sleepy. After talking to Bai Yuling, he fell asleep directly. The next morning, with the ringing of the alarm clock, a new week began. This is the life of a senior high school student. The same thing is repeated every week, over and over again. After arriving in the classroom, Zhang Cheng lay on the table to catch up on his sleep as usual. He didn't sleep very well last night, so he took advantage of today's theory class to catch up. With the ringing of the class bell, Bai Yuling also came to the classroom and started a week of classes. The get out of class bell rang on time, which gradually became Zhang Cheng's wake-up bell. Hearing the bell, Zhang Cheng sat up and stretched, then went out to find Yixian to have dinner together. After dinner, Zhang Cheng did not go directly to the classroom, but returned to the dormitory to check the situation of the mealy sheep. Now Zhang Cheng treats this elf egg as a treasure, fearing that there will be a problem. After a careful inspection and confirming that everything is normal, Zhang Cheng returned to the classroom with peace of mind. In the afternoon, Bai Yuling handed out another test paper for the exam. Zhang Cheng looked at the test paper and had no desire to do any questions. There's no way. Who let Bai Yuling spoil me, not listening to the class, not writing the test paper, and playing every day in class? This made everyone envious for a while. Bai Yuling was not so tolerant of everyone. Although I don't have to write the test paper, it's really a bit boring. I don't know what to do sitting on the desk now. So Zhang Cheng looked through the test paper out of boredom to see if there are any interesting questions. Zhang Cheng found a multiple choice question about the Nido family. Nido king needs to reproduce offspring. Which of the following elves should he mate with? A Nidor and B Nidorina C Nido queen D. All of the above. The correct answer to this question should be A, because Nidorina and Nido queen have no reproductive organs after evolution. So if Nido king needs to reproduce, he can only do it with Nidoran. Nido king, who is more than 1 meter tall, and Nidoran, who is 40 centimeters tall. Zhang Cheng imagined that picture and felt it was very weird. There was still an hour before the end of get out of class. Zhang Cheng really didn't know what to do. He sent a message to Bai Yuling on his mobile phone. Good sister, can you let me out? It's too boring, you wishful thinking. It's not enough to sleep in class, and now you want to skip classes. No way. Seeing that Bai Yuling disagreed, Zhang Cheng had no choice but to turn on his mobile phone to read some elves news to kill time. A crisp bell rang for the end of get out of class. Zhang Cheng felt that the bell sounded like the horn of victory in the battle. Finally, he was liberated. The feeling of depression in the classroom was really a torture to people's psychology. After having dinner with Yi Don, the two continued to practice sparring as usual. Zhang Cheng chose to let Popo come out to fight with Butterfree this time. He had to focus on training Popo in the near future. Raising Popo's level can also be used as the main combat force in the future. Now Popo can't play in the friendly match because his level is not enough. After the training, Zhang Cheng returned to the dormitory and adjusted the temperature of the incubator. The temperature at night would be lower, so the temperature should be raised a little bit. When Zhang Cheng was debugging the equipment, he found that there were some cracks on the Pokémon egg. This Mirak should be about to be born. Mosquito and Pidgeot also looked at the Pokémon egg, their eyes full of expectation. Obviously, they wanted to have a new partner to join. Thinking that there would be a practical teaching class tomorrow, Zhang Cheng also urged the two Pokémons to rest quickly and maintain a good state. In this way, Zhang Cheng repeated the same life, going from classroom to cafeteria and dormitory every day. Such a life is boring, but it can improve with strength. If you want to become an outstanding trainer, you must work hard, study and train boringly. Soon it was Sunday, which was also the only day off in a week. Zhang Cheng was guarding the Pokémon egg in the dormitory. In recent days, the cracks on the Pokémon egg have become larger and larger. Zhang Cheng guessed that Mirak should be born today. So Zhang Cheng didn't go anywhere today, and stayed by the side of the sheep. Zhang Cheng didn't want the first person that the sheep saw after it was born to be someone other than him. Pokémons will have a very high degree of favorability towards the first person they see after they are born, which also makes it easier for the Pokémons and trainers to get along. Near noon, the Pokémon egg of the sheep began to shake violently, and with a click, the eggshell completely shattered. What appeared in front of him was a pink sheep, with pink fur all over its body, which was very different from the white fur of other sheep. Looking at this pink little cutie, Zhang Cheng also reached out and greeted, "Hello, sheep. We will be partners from now on." Me. The sheep rubbed Zhang Cheng with its little head docilely, then picked up the eggshell beside it and started to eat it. Chapter 50 Team Formation. Watching Melly Sheep finish eating the eggshells, Zhang Cheng took out a large milk can that he had prepared in advance. Zhang Cheng poured the milk from the large milk can into the elf's small bowl and handed it to Melly Sheep. After eating the eggshells, Melly Sheep curiously stared at Zhang Cheng, and in its heart it had already regarded Zhang Cheng as its mother. Seeing Zhang Cheng handing it milk, Melly Sheep first sniffed it. After feeling the milky aroma, it drank it in big gulps. Melly Sheep choked because it drank too quickly, and Zhang Cheng hurriedly patted Melly Sheep's back to relieve its physical discomfort. After drinking the milk, Melly Sheep walked around and began to look at the place where it was born. Looking at the curious Melly Sheep, mosquito-repellent tadpole trotted over and chatted with Melly Sheep. As for Bobo, it would not take the initiative to show goodwill to unfamiliar elves. Only after spending a long time together would it take the initiative. Mosquito, me. The two Pokémons were communicating with each other, and every time the tadpole said something, the sheep would feel very surprised. Zhang Cheng could probably guess that the tadpole was telling the sheep about all kinds of things in the world. Maybe he would even complain about his trainer, but looking at the well-behaved appearance of the sheep, Zhang Cheng was still relieved. Such an obedient little cutie would definitely not be abducted by the tadpole. After the two Pokémons talked for a while, the tadpole suddenly jumped off the table, and then walked to the side of the sheep with some Pokémon food. The sheep looked at the Pokémon food handed over by the tadpole, not knowing what to do. The tadpole pointed at the food in his hand, then put it in his mouth and ate it. The sheep looked at the tadpole's actions and learned to put the food into his mouth. After eating, the tadpole handed the food in his hand over again, but this time the sheep refused to eat it. The mosquito-repellent tadpole looked at the sheep in confusion, wondering why this little guy didn't want to eat such delicious food. Looking at the silly look of the mosquito-repellent tadpole, Zhang Cheng was also a little amused. You gave the sheep your water-type elf food, of course the sheep doesn't like it. Then Zhang Cheng took out the electric elf food he had bought in advance, unpacked it and put it to the sheep's mouth. Looking at the food handed over by Zhang Cheng, the sheep opened its mouth and ate it obediently. This time, the sheep liked it very much after eating it, and looked at Zhang Cheng pitifully, wanting more of this kind of food. Looking at the cute appearance of the sheep, Zhang Cheng felt that his heart was about to melt. Is this the happiness of the training system? Zhang Cheng satisfied the sheep's wish, poured the elf food into the bowl, and let it eat slowly. After doing this, Zhang Cheng lay on the bed thinking about the current situation of the team and the subsequent elf training plan. The sheep is not suitable for training just after it was born, so it can do some simple exercises in the first week. Both the tadpole and the popo now have their own training opponents. The tadpole can train with Artibitor, and the popo can train against Heracris, who Yan just captured. The rainy day team in Zhang Cheng's mind has now taken shape. There are already suitable elves for the storm and thunder skills. Just wait for the purchase of skill learning machines for popo and melee sheep to learn. The elves to be captured in the future are mainly water-based, and they must be elves with rainy day characteristics. Zhang Cheng's current lineup is very tricky to deal with electric elves. Both water and flying are restrained by electric. If he encounters electric elves in the future, Zhang Cheng can only send out the electric melee sheep to fight. But if the opponent's characteristics are electricity storage and lightning rod, he will have no way. So Zhang Cheng's best choice for the next elf is Swampert. Swampert has ground attributes and can perfectly solve the problem of electric elves. And Swampert also has the characteristics of leisurely and free, which is even more powerful with the blessing of rainy weather. The problem is that it is very difficult to get a good water jump fish. Water jump fish belongs to the three major elves, and most of the resources are monopolized by the Alliance. The official three major elves of the Alliance are not what Zhang Cheng can afford now. Now he can only decide on the choice of elves, and make plans after he becomes stronger and earns more elf coins. Time soon came to the evening. After dinner, Zhang Cheng also asked Yan to practice with him. Now the efficiency of the two people's practice will be greatly improved. Both sides can release their two elves and let them train each other's skills. In this way, all four elves can improve their strength. It is no longer like before when Yan only had one Butterfree and Zhang Cheng could only send one elf to practice. Will your elf egg hatch today? Yan asked Zhang Cheng. It has been hatched successfully. It is a Mirik. While speaking, Zhang Cheng also released a Mirik. Seeing Zhang Cheng's Mirik, Yan was very surprised. Why is this Mirik different from the one I saw in the book? Is this a shiny Mirik? Yan said in disbelief. Yes, this Mirik is indeed a shiny Mirik of a different color. Zhang Cheng confirmed what Yan thought. Your luck is too good to be able to get a shiny Pokemon? Yan said enviously. I didn't expect it either. I was very surprised when I found out. Maybe it's God's blessing, Zhang Cheng thought for a while and said. After the Mirik was released, it had been hiding behind Zhang Cheng. It was a little afraid of strangers. Looking at the scared Mirik, Zhang Cheng reached out and held the Mirik in his arms, gently stroking its hair. Under the comfort of his trainer, the Mirik was no longer so scared and began to secretly look at Yan opposite. After the training, Zhang Cheng took the Pokémons back to the dormitory and built a comfortable nest for the Mirik. Then the massage project started again. Yang felt a little uncomfortable at first. After a few minutes, Yang also felt a comfortable feeling and soon fell in love with massage. Under Zhang Cheng's massage technique, the three elves soon fell asleep. After settling the three elves, Zhang Cheng simply washed and began to rest. Tomorrow, when he opens his eyes, it will be a new week, and he will start a repetitive life again. The idea of going to the wild to gain experience is also sprouting in Zhang Cheng's heart. Zhang Cheng plans to find Bai Yuling next week to see if he can get leave to let him go out for a while. His improvement in school is really limited. If he wants to make faster progress, going to the wild is the best choice. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.